Good evening, Clashers and Clashettes. Andrew, 19 plays. Congratulations on the 2,700 trophies. Welcome to the official Supercell Clash Royale North American Open broadcast of NGE Studios in Burbank, California. Representing Frozen Peak, I'm Christian.
And Builders Workshop, I'm Ella.
And today we are bringing you guys yet again even more of the top Clash Royale plays you will ever see in your life. We are at Coronation Day number 8.
Yeah, it's going to be an awesome night. Over 500,000 of you guys over the next couple of weeks will be playing in our open qualifiers, which were happening all day today.
That's right.
And you will move on to nights like tonight if you're lucky and skilled and talented enough, which is the Coronation Day.
Woo.
Tonight a little bit later than usual.
Yeah.
But thanks for joining us anyway.
Yeah, welcome guys.
And from the Coronation Day, 16 people will move on to the arena battles, and from there, 8 will move on to the crown duels, and one amazing, awesome winner will take home $15,000 out of a $100,000 prize pool and a trip to Supercell HQ.
That's right, guys. $15,000 was on the line, but for these top 8 players tonight that make it to every Coronation Day, they are playing for something too. $2,000 for first place, second place taking home $500, third and fourth place taking home $300 each, and finally 5th through 8th, $100. Making it here is an incredible feat. These guys are the best players right now in the scene, and we have 8. Before we get to tonight's top 8, let's quickly go over the rules of our duels here at the Clash Royale North American Opens. We run the standard tournament cap with the double deck submission. Each contestant will submit 2 unique decks to us, and by unique, we just mean at least 4 cards different from the other. To move on, it is super easy. You just gotta beat your opponent with both of your decks before they beat you with theirs, and boom. You're one step closer to the top. I mean, it's easy for them because they're absolute geniuses. So now, let's take a look at our top 8 for tonight. Up first, we have T-Bone versus Ash.
Then we have Awesome Adam versus Mr. Man's dad.
Then we've got Swood versus Manly.
And finally, Razor versus Epru.
That's right. These are our 8 players tonight, so you guys get comfortable. It's a little later. Maybe you guys are watching from your pajamas. Hope you guys are ready for some amazing plays. But we are ready to go into this. Before we get into that, though, let's go over to the couch where we have our 2 amazing commentators. Joining me on the red couch, as always, host and creator of the Super Magical Cup, it's raining.
What's up?
It's not raining, but it's raining.
And over here on my couch, I have YouTuber and awesome Clash player who has helped me so much with my deck.
Keep it going. And,
oh my God.
And genius and handsome and humble.
Oh, definitely. I saw them exchange $5 bills before we got here.
No one can prove that. No one can prove that. All right, guys, we are here at Coronation Day number 8. Let's quickly do a recap of what happened yesterday. Coronation Day number 7. Gilgamesh, he is our 7th champion to be crowned. He took home $2,000. We had Backstab here. He was our guest for the round of 8. Super fun. So talk to me kind of the highlights that we saw from yesterday.
Yeah, I think the highlight for me, or at least the big takeaway, was that golems are just the thing of the meta now. I think the power escalation has kind of got to its tipping point, and now everybody's like, I can't go much stronger than Golem.
3 Musketeers.
Yeah.
About it.
Let's see that.
You know what's interesting is that the ladder, the very top of the ladder where a lot of people are still playing these golem decks that we're seeing here, there's been a huge rise in giant balloon decks and hog rider decks, including the old-fashioned kind of hog cycle to get up there. So it's not reflected tonight, but we could see that over the next few days, people returning to heavy punish-focused decks where if you're going to be like, 8 elixir into a big golem, somebody just...
That's the under strategy you were talking about, right?
That's right, yeah.
Is Balloon also the under strategy?
Balloon's sort of weird. Actually, Giant Balloon is going over a golem deck, I would assume. Like, it's 10 elixir, it's really aggressive, it's coming right for your tower, and it's fast compared to putting a golem behind your king tower and then trying to fight your way out. If you can get into overtime about even, the Giant Balloon deck prevents the golem decks from ever really...
They're just too slow.
Playing a golem without just getting completely overrun,
Right, all right. So that's, guys, what you guys probably are experiencing on the ladder tonight, though. Again, running the tournament cap. These are the meta makers. We've been seeing how, starting again, you said there was no expos again tonight either.
Once again, no expos. A good mixture of Royal Giant, Golem. We've got 1 Lava Hound deck, 1 Hog Lightning deck, and 2 Graveyard decks.
Yes, 2 of them?
That's right.
2 separate people?
2 different people are playing 1 Graveyard deck each.
So good.
Thank you guys so much for doing this. All right, so that was kind of a recap of yesterday. Let's talk about some of the things that are happening right now in the community. We have the King Cup tournaments that are starting tomorrow.
Yes, less than 24 hours.
Okay.
These are going to be really cool. It's a new type of challenge. So in the normal Grand and Classic challenges, you can build whatever deck you want, Ella, take some gems, go battle until you get either 12 wins or 3 losses. Tomorrow's King's Cup challenge is going to run for a limited time. The first entry is free, and additional entries are actually going to cost, I believe, 5 gems. It's gonna be
wow.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really nice for a lot of these people. But what's cool about it is that you're going to be given a deck. Even if you don't own the cards, you get to play. There's a couple different decks that are pre-built in there, and 6 of the cards are fixed, and 2 of them are totally random.
That's so awesome.
So you might get something like an X-Bowler deck, a bowler deck with X-Bow, and it includes.
You just have to figure it out.
Right, just figure it out on the fly, and you might even get legendaries like Miner, Ice Wizard, Princess.
I get my first legendary. I can play with a legendary.
Do it.
Absolutely.
Doing it. Absolutely.
Really fun.
So that's happening tomorrow. So make sure you guys are getting ready, getting geared up for that. Quick reminder of our schedule here at the Clash Round North American Opens. We broadcast every Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And Thursdays, as you guys are now noticing, a little bit later, 8 o'clock p.m. on Thursdays. The rest of the days, 6 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And we do this today so we can have a little more West Coasters. And we're seeing actually a lot of newer players here in our bracket today.
Yeah.
We have 5 new faces, 3 returning faces, T-Bone, Ash, and Swood.
Okay.
But all of the other 5 remaining competitors, first time, so maybe Clash Royale After Dark is doing its job.
Yeah, doing good so far. Are these any of these new guys people that we recognize in the community? Are they any big names?
Definitely recognize Manly, a competitor in the Super Magical Cup, of course, as I would be most familiar with. Hasn't taken away big titles, but has done fairly well, has had some very close runs. So interested to see how Manly has grown in terms of play style and skill level.
Great.
Awesome.
Maybe he'll get a ticket.
Oh, and also, my favorite part of the night, the haikus. Please keep sending those. They're so awesome, and I love reading them. So, 575 syllables, not words.
Yep.
What else? Anything just don't suck, right?
Yeah, they're amazing.
Write a haiku.
Hashtag ClashNA Open.
About anything Clash Royale
Yeah,
related.
anything
It could
Clash
be
Royale.
about Giant Balloon. It could be about King's Cup.
Yeah.
That would be something to do.
Yeah, it could.
And also, make sure to like and share us on Facebook, Twitch, wherever you're watching. I don't
YouTube.
know.
Yeah. YouTube subscribe, Twitch follow,
Yes.
Facebook share.
That's right.
Well, just hit the button. Just every button on your
Just
screen.
do it
just hit
right
them
now.
all.
Just take the time. While we're talking and you don't
My
want to listen to
grandma is on
us
Facebook right now watching and sharing this, so if she can do it, I know you guys can do it as well. All right, now,
your
before we
grandma.
get into our first matchup, T-Bone
She's like, hey!
versus oh my gosh, shout out. Hey, Grandma.
You're a nice boy.
Shout out to you, Grandma. Shout out to you. All right, T-Bone versus Ash. This is our first matchup. 2 returning players, what we've seen before. Let's talk about what we're thinking of. What are the decks that they're bringing? Anything jumping out? Anything new? Anything?
Ash is a very popular YouTuber, very good strategy. He's been here before.
Yep.
He's bringing 2 big tanky decks, a Lava Hound double minions deck. So he's got minions and minion horde in his Lava Hound deck. The other is a Golem deck, double Golem actually, Golem and Ice Golem with Graveyard.
Hey!
Going up against T-Bone, who's going the backstab route, bringing double Royal Giant. So the challenge here is, can Ash get either of his tanks out without eating a Royal Giant right in the face?
Yeah, a lot of it is going to come down to damage mitigation. All right, opening moments of the game. Looks like Ice Golem is going to be the opening play. There is a Royal Giant, but no Golem is actually played. And there's a Tombstone plus a Mega Minion already working that Royal Giant's health down. It's going to lock onto the tower with about 20% health left and only gets 1 shot. This could be the best opportunity for Ash to play some kind of counterattack, but he actually spent a lot of elixir. Most of that, I think, sunk into the graveyard. That did close to nothing.
Yeah, Graveyard seems to be one of the most high-risk, high-reward cards in the game. It's a lot like Sparky in that regard, where it's, 5, 6 elixir you got to put on the field. If it works, it will shred a tower, 100-0. But if it's defended well, not terribly impressive.
Absolutely. Furnace in the back now for T-Bone. Interesting placement. I wonder, say a few words about why that might be.
Well, I think they initially went there because the first furnace was still in the middle, but I do think that there's a lot of good reasons to switch it around. If a graveyard comes out, you want that building there to absorb some of the shots and to create fire spirits that will jump on and explode on a lot of the skeletons that might be threatening your tower.
Here comes a potential big counter push off of T-Bone's Royal Giant play. Got good damage onto Ash's tower, but now it's Ash's turn to strike. Golem makes it up, gets a big swing. Now the death damage is going to come in, and that tower is catching up to Ash's left side tower quick. Lots of health being missed. Golemites are going to tank up for the graveyard. Here they come.
Wow.
Oh,
There's no
it's a
furnace
spooky
anymore.
time for T-Bone, and he is going to lose a tower. That was probably one of the most effective graveyards we've seen in the Coronation days so far.
You're right, Ash with a little bit of the winky too, the thanks there. Now here's the catch. Ash can just play defense from now on. Doesn't actually ever have to make himself vulnerable by casting another golem. I think that was actually kind of a dodgy play because, well, maybe he opted to do it because he felt like he couldn't stop the Royal Giant anyways. If T-Bone wanted to just shove Royal Giants at the tower, he was going to take it. So instead, you sort of get the jump. Look at this. We have a 14 elixir push coming down the lane right now, and you have to use lightning just to take out only some of it.
Ice Golem is here to assist the Golem itself. Now it splits, and the Ice Golem is going to tank for the Graveyard and the Golem Skeleton Army, but zapped away. Nope, that's not a good defense against the Graveyard in many ways, because if you play the Skeleton Army, Zap will remove all your skeletons immediately, while the Graveyard is still slowly spawning their own.
And the MVP was the archers in the back. Each archer shot takes out a skeleton, so they could just sit there, you know, Bad Boys 2, just boom, 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 shooting each skeleton as they pop up. And there they are, popped in the middle again.
Here comes a big race. Tombstone is going to shove that Royal Giant out of the way, retargeting onto the Tombstone, and that might just be enough to push a tower down. Oh no! T-Bone pushes the Golem away, doesn't get the death damage on the tower. Good play from T-Bone. Good solid defense, but Archers are going to do a ton. The Archers are putting on so much damage in the tower. 220. If that last card is Lightning,
It is lightning.
Well, there we go.
Just going to use the log to clean him out. Oh, I might not even have to use the big spell.
Wow.
Wow.
Just like that.
was convincing to me.
Yeah, that's, you know, anytime there's a new card that comes out, right away the first impression is like, well, how do I use this card? And people make kind of oddball decks at first to really try to force it down. I think Ash there just felt like, well, I'm going to play this kind of like a Goblin Barrel. Like once the tower's locked onto a tank, let's just play Graveyard and see if my opponent has a counter for it. If nothing else, he has to split between the Graveyard and the Golem when you really need to kill both as soon as possible. And was able to take not one but two towers with Graveyard.
Rainy, is Graveyard the new Goblin Barrel?
Oh my god, you know, Graveyard is a spell that I actually get really excited about for that reason, because it can be so explosive. I think that it definitely takes some ingenuity and some thinking. That was probably the most convincing Graveyard deck I've seen so far. Freeze Graveyard is not convincing me yet, but I definitely want to investigate Graveyard as kind of aggressive spell more. And,
Sorry guys, Graveyard Mirror. Graveyard Mirror, that's the one. You just
Okay,
Graveyard,
okay.
and then you just mirror the Graveyard.
World's best log.
That's right. We talked about Ash, though, being, as far in the community, a very, very thoughtful player. He taught me how to use an Ice Golem. I mean, on his channel, he uses Ice Golem. It's like this 15-minute video, and he does all these split screens. I mean, so this guy really, really knows the cards, and he really experiments how to use them. And right there, like you said, we saw Graveyard come out. It was the Coronation Day after it was released. Didn't do super great. We're a couple days on. It seems like he finally found one. So right now, Ash is up 1-0 against T-Bone. Let's see if he can take it.
As much as we'd like to rave about Graveyard, it's out for the rest of the match. So we're going to have to see Ash win with his Lava Hound deck. Very interesting Lava Hound deck. Almost all air units. It's got Mega Minion, Minions, and Minion Horde, along with Tombstone, Arrows, Lightning, and Miner. If we remember the last time we saw Ash in the top 8, he was felled by a Hog Lightning deck because his deck lacked a lot of great ways to block the Hog Rider on the ground. Almost all these air units kind of came back to bite him.
Skeleton Army distracting the Mega Minion, but finally that has passed, and Mega Minion will lock onto the other one of T-Bone. Win out that duel. Big arrows from T-Bone stops him from taking a ton of damage, and that Furnace survives the whole push, squeezes out 2 more Fire Spirits. All in all, I think a pretty good defense for an early Lava Hound drop.
Yeah, those really big tanks are kind of dodgy early in the match. We saw that as well last Coronation Day, where casting a Golem before double Elixir time is really hard to play a lot of support behind it. One advantage for T-Bone is he has arrows in this deck, so he will be able to arrow these Lava Pups right as they come out. And of course, the Minion Horde as well.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like there's a big push. Actually, he chooses to play the Royal Giant instead of arrows. Knows that he can take a little bit of damage. It might be a big push for T-Bone. Mega Minion on top is actually doing a lot of damage to the Royal Giant, but Archers are going to be able to take care of it. Not quite fast enough, though, and the Royal Giant does fall. Archers will convert to a little bit of damage, but I think that was a wildly successful push for T-Bone.
Yeah, absolutely. About 1,800 damage dealt to the tower. I believe that was a full health tower before the whole push started. It doesn't seem to be too far behind an elixir after all is said and done, which is usually the big fear when you cast something like Royal Giant.
Skeleton Army doing so much damage to the Miner before you can even get a few swings off. Arrows takes too long. Miner is dead by the time the arrows arrive, and the minions are left without a tank. And so far, I think T-Bone has a really, really good line of play against the Lava Hound of Ash.
I'm somewhat surprised that we haven't seen the minion horde play a little more aggressively. We've seen T-Bone be very fast and loose with his arrows. And he's casting arrows as soon as he can a lot of times. And it would be a great time to, as soon as the arrows come down, do something like a minion horde miner push, because you know at least they don't have the easy spell to get rid of it.
T-Bone has opted to give up, essentially, his right side tower to try to do damage to the left, but again, Skeleton Army thwarts his attempts. And unfortunately, I don't think there's enough time for a Lava Hound to really make this work. And as you mentioned, Minion Horde not even being touched in this game.
Yeah, it's the 8th and unrevealed card. It looks like, though, T-Bone is taking this one, tying it up 1-1. Ash is sort of ceding defeat here. We're going to go into a game 3, though, where he's going to have to replay this Lava Hound deck. Let's see what's different in the other deck. Well, first thing, T-Bone's other Lava Hound deck, or other Royal Giant deck, isn't going to have arrows and isn't going to have Furnace. So Ash probably feels very confident going into the third game here, because those were two cards that were really giving his minion swarms, like Minion Horde, Minion, and Mega Minion, a really hard time.
Okay, well, but going back to this game,
Sure.
Ash's Lava Hound deck looks a lot like the Lava Hound deck that you just helped me make, and it just lost.
I told you I built it myself, didn't I? Yeah, no. I mean, here's the thing. I think Ash's Lava Hound deck is a deck of matchups, right? If you're going up against a really ground-based deck, like Giant Bowler, for example, this deck looks nuts. Right. I mean, Minion Horde, Minions, Mega Minion are going to shred. You're never going to be without some sort of air unit that's going to just slaughter the Giant Bowler, the really heavy ground soups. But you're right. When you go up against a deck with Furnace and arrows,
Great.
Not looking so hot.
Great.
Hey. No one's playing arrows in Arena 6, right?
No one does that. No one touches that. Speaking of arrows and the things that they kill, but also the things that they don't kill, Randy, talk to me more about archers. We've seen this card used so much lately. It's an amazing card that a lot of cheap spells don't take off the board in the one shot. Law doesn't remove them. Arrows don't remove them. How do you effectively deal with someone who's pushing archers?
So for dealing with archers, I think a lot of it is just either conceding and taking a spell like Fireball that will actually remove them, or it's trying to use units that will push past the archers quickly so you can get your back line to attack the archers as soon as positioning allows. Archers is tough to get past just because of that reason. Now, if you can injure even one of the archers, you cut the potential damage that card throws out in half, right? And so that's really the big weakness of the card. One archer, not so fantastic in terms of the damage per second count. Two archers do pretty well, but even then we saw archers shooting away at the Mega Minion. The Mega Minion was able to kill the Royal Giant before
he went down.
And if you're watching at home, this is exactly what you want to do with your Royal Giant decks. Royal Giant is the premier control deck in the meta right now. You really just wait for your opponent to commit a lot of elixir, and then you toss your Royal Giant down in the opposite lane. Don't play it in the same lane, because then you can play things like the Mega Minion minions to kill your Royal Giant, and it'll just go back up the Lava Hound. By putting them on the other side, I think that was a much better way to go about that.
Here comes the Miner to tank for the Lava Pups, and it looks like it will expand successfully. Mega Minion there too from Ash helping out, and this might be a big push.
That's right.
And oh no, 3 Lava Pups lock on, and it chooses the highest health Lava Pup as well. Yeah, that was about the worst situation that T-Bone could have hoped for.
Something that both of T-Bone's decks kind of struggle with is he's got log in both decks, and there is not a ton in Ash's deck that is worth logging, maybe half of a tombstone.
Which is interesting, because most games that we've seen so far, log has been super effective
and
on
I think
a lot of stuff.
That's very, very intuitive and very observant. I think that is why Ash is playing such an air-heavy deck, is because if you know that log is played in 16 out of 16 decks or something like that, then you just have a deck where log is completely useless against you. It makes it hard for other decks to cycle, because they rely so much on those cheap 2-cost logs getting value to get through their deck quickly.
Wow, just like that, look, Ash already taking a pretty early lead with 1 minute and 20 seconds left. Let's see what T-Bone can do to come back. If not, Ash might be going to the semifinals.
There it is, that Minion Horde that we were looking for, and there are no arrows to be seen for T-Bone. This Minion Horde wrecked that push so badly.
Right. I mean, that came down to not only having Zap, Log, and Fireball. And that's tough. I mean, you can Fireball them, but it's only a -1 elixir trade. It's not horrible to find yourself behind. And if you're too slow with the Fireball, the minion horde does so much damage that you might be all right with that. You're like, oh, I lose 1 elixir, but I dealt 1,000 damage. And okay,
yeah,
okie dokie.
I'll pay that.
Yeah.
All right, here comes the next Lava Hound push, and it's all seeming just a little bit too easy for Ash. I mean, his Lava Hound pushes have all been deadly. All the Lava Hounds he's thrown out there. There's the lightning to couple with the pups, but the Mega Minion is trying to make its way over. Guards is going to distract for a little bit, and the Miner comes up to tank for a bit, and it seems like it's going to take down just an Archer, but still 704 health left for T-Bone. It seems like Ash can do no wrong at this point.
Yeah, and we mentioned it's a deck of matchups. I mean, this is the perfectly placed deck to fight a Royal Giant. You have so many air-based units, especially things that do a lot of damage very quickly. Mega Minion survives the Fireball. It's going to have to get zapped now. And then that's what, 6 elixir to take down a 3 elixir troop? That's tough.
There's a Miner just in time, too, to tank for the Lava Pups. And again, so much damage being dealt to the tower. And T-Bone gets pushed out of the round of 8 by Ash, playing some very, very strong decks.
There we go. Congratulations to Ash, our first semifinalist of Coronation Day number 8.
I accept your apology, Ella. How cool is that Lava Hound deck that I built you and came up with myself?
Man, it murdered. That was amazing.
It was just so great the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rumham knows best. But T-Bone, you've earned more money than me. You've been here multiple times. But tonight, not your night, sir.
Not at all.
Take your double Royal Giant. Big fan of it, but you came up against the deadliest Lava Hound.
That's right. Let's
hope
go
you
into
don't
our
have to rip that up
first
all night.
replay where we have a graveyard.
All right, Graveyard is looking so good in this Golem deck. I really like the way Ash implemented it. I think that, I mean, trying to log away the Golem, but it actually makes it back. When you log a Golem like that, you really want to make sure it's absolutely on its last legs, because it's going to just walk back up to the tower and do the death damage. And here we see the strength of Graveyard. Even just
So
the Golem
good.
Knights tanking for it. Look at how many people, it's like watching the DMV.
Oh my god.
You watched
Except
the
they're all
DMV?
dead.
Well, and also keep in mind that as soon as the log
Exactly.
comes out, Ash has the go-ahead to cast Graveyard. I mean, that's one of the cards you're afraid of as a Graveyard player is log, and as soon as it comes out to knock back the Golem, it's like, go, fire skeletons.
I mean,
And here this is really just a textbook Lava Hound push, honestly. I mean, you had the Miner sent in before the Lava Hound died, the Pups come out, the Pups lock onto the tower along with the low health Mega Minion, and just shred that tower before anything really gets...
I'm taking notes.
Yeah.
Taking notes? All right.
Well, and just in case people weren't here last time, you know, like we were eloquently saying, Ella got a legendary. She has now Lava Hound, and you were trying to make a deck for her that's lower because you said Lava Hound's good, but once you have Miner, or that's pretty much a key way to get it up. So just maybe explain a little more for people who have those legendaries that aren't at a higher level that have good cards to pair with them. What are good alternatives? What do you look for to see like, but not a Miner, what do I get?
Yeah. The key with Lava Hound is that when it dies, there's a split second before the Lava Pups actually spawn. If anything else is around, the tower will lock on to that first. If there's nothing around, then it just starts shooting down the Pups. The Pups are really fragile. You don't want them to get shot down by towers. So if you can have something like a Miner pop up, that's the best because it just shows up right there. The tower locks onto the Miner, Pups go crazy. But Ella only has the one legendary, can't do the Miner trick. That's okay. Knight, Valkyrie, Hog Rider, any sort of melee cheap ground unit that can quickly get to the tower is a great substitute there because when the Lava Hound dies, tower just locks onto that instead. I personally like Hog Rider. Ella didn't like it. We switched it out for Knight and Valkyrie. Doing much better though.
Yeah, it's much better.
All right.
You're gonna get to Royal Arena yet.
Yes.
We'll get you there.
Now
If
we
you
have
pass
Mr.
Christian.
Man's dad and Awesome
Oh,
Adam.
I'm so excited for that.
All right, let's take a quick look.
Sorry, Christian.
Awesome Adam is opened with his Hog Lightning deck. His other deck is a Golem Baby Dragon Lightning deck, my favorite. Mr. Man's dad is playing Giant Bowler first, and in his back pocket, he's got a Royal Giant Furnace deck.
Ooh, Royal Giant. Now, Royal Giant Furnace, I mean, something to talk about, not to go too far into the past, but that Royal Giant Furnace deck was looking very, very unstoppable.
I love the Furnace variant more than the Tombstone variant because the Furnace does a really great job of covering for your Royal Giant. If they play something like Skeleton Army, Minions, anything like that, the double Fire Spirits jump up and take care of it in a way that Tombstone, not so much.
Man, that Inferno Tower has what, like I think it has some kind of
Oh,
Medal
Bowler.
of Honor. Oh, that's exactly what we were talking about playing Bowler against Hog Rider.
I think Mr. Man's dad was taking my bowler notes from the last tournament. Hold that bowler until you see the Hog Rider.
Don't use it.
Now keep in mind, both players know each other's decks, so that was not an accident that he was holding the bowler for. He knew that this was a Hog Lightning deck, so they get to see it in the Clash Royale North American Open. Oh no, what a lightning!
Wow.
I guess your advice is pretty good.
Only if you're an Arena 6 or lower. I trust you. Actually, if we get to it again, if we get to a leaking elixir thing, Marcel P yelled at me about making fun of him for leaking elixir, and he explained why, so stay tuned.
Okay.
And I'll give the Marcel P feedback on that one. All right, so we got pretty even here. Actually, Awesome Adam has a 2 to 3 elixir advantage, which is going to do him really well. It's basically almost a free Hog Rider. A little discount there, and I expect the log to come out. Cleaning out those skeletons, letting the Hog Rider get 2 shots on the tower, pushing his damage advantage a little bit further.
That was clean. Now it's going to be Mega Minion Giant, but the Mega Minion got its roles reversed. Says, I want to go first, and now it's dead.
Ooh, poor lightning. Let's see if oh, no lightning, just going to let it happen.
Now, something really interesting about this scenario right now is the tower actually has higher health than the Inferno Tower at this point. So it's actually a little slower to stun the Inferno Tower, and that can actually make a very big difference in the push. So as that tower gets lower health, Giant Lightning is going to get more and more dangerous because that Lightning is more responsive. But let's see.
Hog Rider still got a shot in, despite the Tombstone, despite the Bowler, one swing for the Hog Rider, getting so much better in this metagame. Oh no! Just when you thought it was dead.
A magical journey that ended in tears.
Now here's the catch. I think that Awesome Adam can still throw a Hog Rider down, maybe a little bit after this Giant Bowler push resolves. Tries to get the Hog Rider past there, and a Lightning and maybe just 1 or 2 Hog Rider shots will be enough. Double beam!
Inferno Tower.
I mean, 5 elixir for Inferno Tower means that you can at least cycle as fast as a Giant pending your other cards in the deck. And it's just, it's tough, you know, because by the time you bring down your second Giant, theoretically, the defending player has a second Inferno Tower. Oh no, he's getting, he still gets a swing. There's the Lightning. Yep, 1 more Lightning, and your clock is tuned up to the, I don't know where I'm going with this. Your clock is cleaned out very nicely.
Right. Yeah. Quite the clever analogy. Yeah, but you're right. So at this point, Mr. Man's dad is 1 lightning away from dying, and unfortunately, we kind of talked about this, not a very fast deck. Giant Bowler doesn't have any way to go all in very quickly, so pretty much he's a dead man walking, dead Bowler walking.
Oh my gosh, he angled the Lightning. I thought he actually tanked it up with 3 bodies.
Oh,
there was
you thought it was gonna
That's
hit.
really smart.
That's a good point.
That's
Okay.
a great, that could happen.
Yeah, what would you, so Rainey, talk about that. What were you actually worried that was gonna happen there?
So Lightning always strikes the highest health targets you have, and normally that would be the tower because the tower has a lot of health.
Right.
But once you get to the 300 health pool or so, a Mega Minion has more than that, a Giant has more than that, and a Bowler has more than that. So an unsuspecting player who just throws Lightning on top of all 3 of that and the tower, who's expecting to hit the tower with 1 of the bolts, actually will not get that. It'll hit the 3 units, and then you're looking like a fool.
That would be awful.
The funniest thing ever is when people drop like barbs around their tower, and you just lightning 3 barbarians, and you're like,
Oh no! No. That's sad day.
Oh man.
Feels bad, man.
So you said that was a pretty slow deck. What does he have in his back pocket?
Well, Hog Lightning is out, so Giant Bowler could be played again. The other deck, though, is Royal Giant Furnace, which would actually be pretty good if you wanted to switch to it, because he's going up against the Golem deck. The Golem Baby Dragon deck we've seen so much of in the last few Coronation days. So anytime those Golems come down, just Royal Giant the other lane, and you have the Furnace to kind of distract the Golem, pull it towards the center, and try to hold off those pushes as best as possible. The Mega Minion, the Baby Dragon, all kind of sit on top of the Golem, so those Fire Spirit explosions are actually really good. They can hit a lot of troops all at once.
Randy, talk to me about, quickly, Baby Dragon. Doesn't get taken out by lightning. Pretty tanky, right? So we've been seeing him more and more as this meta continues. But right now, going into our next game, Awesome Adam, 1 more game away from going to the semifinals. Let's see if he can take it. Will Mr. Man's dad come back?
Not Mr. Man.
No, Mr. Man's dad.
Mr. Man's dead. Yeah, Baby Dragon is a really interesting card just because it's for the longest time it was one of the most ignored cards. But it's really filling a niche that seems pretty necessary in the meta.
I'm really glad that Baby Dragon is finally getting its time to shine. It's such a fun card. I mean, it's kind of cute looking, right?
So
but it's a normal thing.
Kinda. It's super cute.
It flies, it moves fast, it spits AoE damage. It doesn't have great stats for its cost. It doesn't have a lot of hit points, it doesn't have a ton of damage, but it does a little bit of everything. And in this current situation where you really just need an all-in-one thing to back up your Golem, it's great. And I'm really happy that he's finally getting his time to shine.
Golem did a lot of damage for Awesome Adam. And Mr. Man's dad is playing from behind a little bit, but I think there is definitely a way for him to stay in this game as it is pretty early. This log is well timed. And that giant will make it to the tower. Archer's still doing their damage. Log does not take them out. And so still gonna convert for pretty good damage there.
That Archer, though, that did a little bit. I mean, even though it was a pretty low health Archer there, did a tiny bit of damage to the bowler, but more importantly, absorbed one of those bowler shots.
Yes.
And that prevents a good 200 damage to your tower, which is really sizable, as we've seen how close all these games get.
Man, archers are great. They're
Archers
doing
are
so
fantastic.
much.
Would you believe me, Ella, if I told you it wasn't too long ago that Archers were completely unplayed,
That's crazy.
never to be seen?
Crazy.
Musketeer used to be all over the place. And actually, Musketeer was around because she survived Poison and Fireball, and that was the main reason that Musketeer was played. But now that nobody's really playing Poison or Fireball, that's less valued. Archers, a little bit cheaper, almost the same damage, and they don't die to arrows, zap, or log, which are some of the most common spells played right now.
And you can split them if you want.
I love splitting Archers. That's been so great. I think that no matter what happens, people have learned the value of Archers, and even if some of the spells get changed and the meta shifts a little bit, you'll still see quite a bit of Archers.
That Golem is not letting the giant near the day. He's like, no, get away from my tower. Get away from my tower.
Bullying him off.
Yeah.
Golem pushing through, death damage gonna hurt the bowler a little bit, but this is actually getting a little bit messy. The second giant actually, I think, will be taken down pretty square,
Yeah.
and I think Awesome Adam might come out on top of this whole situation.
Well-timed log cleared that out, but it was almost too little too late. Those 4 skeletons, 2 archers, and an ice golem just did the Super Friends maneuver on that big giant and took him down.
Super Friends maneuver. That should be a deck name. The Super Friends.
Well, it is.
I think that's Tom's deck.
That's Tom's deck.
Super
The
Buddies.
super, no, that's his buddies, right?
Oh, great.
Buddy
Now,
system.
Someone
Buddy
out there,
system,
someone out there
right.
make up Super Friends, quick.
Super Friends. All right. Golem again, matching. Oh, actually, I think the fact that it killed one of the archers is not super ideal. I think he would have much rather killed the Mega Minion there.
Yeah, it looks like the Mega Minion might have just missed. He was just out of range, perhaps.
Yeah.
You know the skeletons?
This is a pretty sizable push. Big skeletons are building up a near full health Baby Dragon and Mega Minion, and of course 1 archer barely holding on for her life coming up.
Oh, Baby Dragon's gonna do a ton of damage, and I mean, I say a ton of, it's gonna do decent amount, but at this stage in the game, that's actually a lot.
400 or 500 is pretty significant, you're right. But we're in overtime now, and this giant bowler push could end the game. The next tower to go down will end it, so there is no time for almost. Oh no, one more lightning!
Oh.
One more lightning is gonna be it, and man, I really think, oh god, no, the bowler! Oh no!
Oh! Mr. Man's dad picking up a victory there. And now we are going into game number 3.
Game number 3.
Mr. Man's
It's a little
dad
hard
looking
to
for the
remember
reverse
sometimes.
sweep. He's gonna bring the Royal Giant deck next against the Golem.
Oh.
So,
Alright.
speaking of Golem, on a typical Golem push, what are you happy with tower damage wise? Like, are you wanting 200, 400? What's the good stuff?
I'm gonna
there?
say 800.
Okay.
800.
Because if you do that 3 times, you'll win the game, assuming no other damage. So usually, because there's so much spell damage, it's also dealt to towers and like kind of other stuff. If you can do like 1,000 on each push, you could probably finish it off with a spell. So I'd say that you'd walk away pretty happy with around 800. If you do 500 or less, that's a lot of elixir to walk away with only 20% of the tower's health.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
So, Rainey, also talk to me about, I want to talk about when you get into the part of the game where you start using your spells, I gotta start spell cycling. I gotta start getting the tower damage. Usually, obviously, it happens in overtime, where it's like, all right, the next tower down, I win. When does that decision click in? When do you start going, all right, I'm gonna put a little more extra. Yes, I'm not gonna counter his push as much, but I think that I can do, I think I'm gonna have enough. Does it just come down to just strictly knowing all the numbers perfectly? Because if you mess up, that could be the game.
Well, if you press and hold on the cards that you have in your hand, you can actually get the exact numbers, the exact damage they will do to the tower. So
Right.
you don't need to leave it up to
I
chance.
always forget that.
But there are certain situations where you actually want to cycle more than just the killing blow, right? So maybe 2 spells ahead, or something like that, which you would need to consider very carefully. Biggest question of which is if you commit X amount of elixir and don't trade anything, or if you trade maybe like one card with it, can you still defend the push being that amount of elixir down? And that's kind of the calculation that you have to make.
I kind of think about around like 45 seconds or so is when I start to be like, all right, we're going all in. Like,
Okay.
I'll start making those sort of plays. But it really depends on the deck you're playing and how fast it really works. I tend to play big tank. Oh, great lightning.
Wow.
That furnace went down almost as soon as it came out.
Right now, ladies and
Yikes.
gentlemen, this is Awesome Adam versus Mr. Man's Dad going into game number 3. One more. This will determine who will go into the semifinals.
Ooh. Now here's the thing, Mr. Man's Dad's kind of doing what we don't like to see, which is an aggressive Royal Giant. You see how kind of underwhelming 2 shots for 6 elixir? I don't know. I'm not really buying that. You really want to make sure to get the most out of every Royal Giant you cast, and the way to do that is waiting until a big tanky card comes out instead. Although
Big thing too, the big emergency I think for Mr. Man's Dad is every single Royal Giant he plays that's failing is giving Awesome Adam more of a lifeline to get to double elixir to play a big Golem push, where all of a sudden now you have a 6 elixir card that doesn't kill units and you have a Golem push coming down your
That's
lane.
true.
And once it's out of
Scary.
cycle, he feels comfortable playing it. Like, he can just go, all right, I'll go down to 2 elixir, because the scariest #1 thing you could punish me
gone.
with is you got to play a few more cards before you're even going to draw it again. Let's see if a lightning comes. Oh, this is going to be a good lightning right here.
Oh, and the baby dragon tanking it up for the Golem just a little bit. Golem's going to make it to the tower.
Ooh.
I think that tower might be down to 800. That's going to be my estimation here.
All right, here we go. Let's see. Right now in chat, listen.
I failed.
No, you're right. It's past 800. It's down to way below 800.
Yeah, it's going to go down to 500.
I think Mr. Man's Dad is thrilled with this outcome, because even though both towers are very low, actually, no, Awesome Adam does have the lightning. As so does...
Fireball
No, he does
on
not. He
Mr.
has
Man's
Fireball.
Dad.
There you go.
I actually think Awesome Adam needs to consider trading spells now. I would lightning that immediately, because if you wait any longer, you actually will not have enough time to cycle your spells.
That's a very good point. Awesome Adam has the light. Oh, no, now it's in Fireball range. Wow, no, whoa. I don't know about Fireball over there. You're really going to need Fireball the other tower.
Golem might be slow enough that, okay, he has
Wow.
13 seconds for this Golem to connect on something, but you
We're
still
not.
need 2 lightnings on that left side or a lightning and a log, maybe?
It's not going to be enough. Oh,
Oh, it is.
oh,
And this might turn
Okay.
around. Awesome
Wow.
Adam started that
Wow.
Golem push from way behind. There's a single archer that, has to lock onto the guards.
Watch this. Royal Giant in the middle.
Oh, there it is. The favorite card.
Probably Tombstone to push
Roman.
it back, and there it
UI.
is. But the big question is, now you're playing in double elixir, you're well nested into double elixir. That one Royal Giant push did a good amount of damage, but is it enough? Because now the turn is passed to Awesome Adam, and he's going to play his Golem. And even if you play a Royal Giant here, will that actually take down the tower? Any elixir, you have to know, any elixir that Awesome Adam plays right now, if a Royal Giant is played, will then assist the Golem on the push.
You're right. I think what Mr. Man's Dad's trying to do is trying to defend as much as he can with his Mega Minion, his Ice Wizard, and then hope that it comes back to support that Royal Giant on offense. Think about this, though. That entire Golem push is maybe going to do 500-ish damage. Uh-oh, another Golem in the middle. But that Royal Giant did about 600-700 for less elixir, which is pretty good.
This baby dragon is really making short work of a lot of units here. I think lightning is a big key, but I wonder if that Golem's going to go to the King Tower instead.
Oh, you're right, because it got pulled backwards a little bit.
We'll see.
The Golem's
One
the Golem
Golem
bites.
goes. Split the gold.
They couldn't make up their minds. They had a little argument. They're like, I'm going to go this way.
The Tombstone is there to seal the lane. With the Tombstone in the middle, it's impossible to cast that Royal Giant for a lot of value, which is why... Oh, whoa! Oh, he fireballed the archers. I get it. Okay.
We'll see. Golem making its way across. There's an aggressive furnace placement. Really wants to make sure that that Golem doesn't make it far, but might have been a little bit too aggressive, because now the baby dragon is assisting in damaging down that building, and you don't have any more to
another
hold back.
Tombstone!
It keeps pushing the Royal Giant back, and that's expert positioning by Awesome Adam, and this might be the nail in the coffin.
Ready for lightning.
Golem makes it.
The
One
key
for lightning.
there. Oh, wow. The key was the Royal Giant didn't do any damage. Didn't do
Just
anything.
like that, Awesome Adam picking up the second game, moving on to the semifinals to join Ash right now in Coronation Day number 8, best of
Woohoo!
round of 8.
Congrats.
Best of 8.
Whew.
He actually did something really smart there. Before he even took the first tower down, he was planning on his next push. Can you
Yeah.
talk a little more about that?
I mean, yeah, so there's definitely times where it's not worth it to defend the tower. Like you just know, or you can read your opponent and be like, oh, I could spend 8 elixir trying to defend this, but my opponent would still be able to muscle through the tower, and then we're both at 0 going into overtime. If I know they have to spend elixir over there, I'm gonna go in the other lane, just let them spend their elixir, because they're gonna have to do it anyways. We saw that. Awesome Adam actually had to like lightning and log 8 elixir just kind of thrown away in order to take that tower down, and that allowed the other side to kind of build up towards that push. Ultimately, though, great play by Awesome Adam, putting the Tombstone in the middle, keeping the Royal Giant from being able to lock onto the tower, and eventually just overwhelmed with some really good pushes. Those furnaces weren't distracting the Golem, I think, as well as Mr. Man's dad would have wanted, and it was 4 elixir that just wasn't doing a whole lot on defense.
Nice timing on the hog log. Hog log.
Good old hog log.
Hog log. Is it here again?
Log.
Hog.
Woo.
And, hold on. Hog Rider. Oh, he got the swing anyways.
What a resilient Hog Rider.
Super
And the
work.
lightning. Whew. Another hog
again,
log. Man,
wow.
look at how many times he's playing the hog and the log. 6 elixir is not anything new for a Hog Rider combo, right? 6 elixir is kind of the standard, like 4+2 is really what the hog excels at in terms
to
of
be Hog's
synergy.
dad?
Yeah.
Here we go. So even though, watch this, Royal Giant's going to come down. Oh, actually, this is after the Royal Giant's already done. At this point, there's nothing really left for him to do. He got overwhelmed by the push. The big gamble with Royal Giant decks is that you're not really defending the 8 elixir golem. You're trying to race it with your Royal Giant in there. When the Royal Giant got defended really well by the double tombstones and some of the other blockers that were in there, suddenly Mr. Man's dad found himself without, like, there's a lot of stuff coming at me.
Well, because we were talking about how earlier on when you said that the Royal Giant did more damage than the Golem for less elixir, and it seemed like, okay, Mr. Man is having a little better trades here. Was it just, what switched for Awesome Adam? What kind of switched up so he started becoming on top of those trades?
Always holding Tombstone, had it in his hand.
Okay.
I mean, if you can block the Royal Giant. The Royal Giant doesn't do a ton of damage or have a lot of hit points for its cost. It's best used as a surprise tool. When you know your opponent's low elixir, when you know they don't have the answers for it, you surprise them. Awesome Adam was never going to let that happen. Kept the Tombstones down. It forced Mr. Man's dad to decide whether to fireball the Tombstone or try to just muscle through it. He opted to fireball things like the Baby Dragon, the Archers, things like that, and that left him without a way to really get rid of the Tombstone. Mr. Man's dad, you did a great job.
Great job.
But today, Awesome Adam is your dad.
Whoa. There it is. Let's go ahead and pull
Sick
up the
burn.
bracket right now as we have our 2 semifinalists, 2 more to go. Ash and Awesome Adam moving on. T-Bone getting knocked out, and like you guys just saw, Mr. Man's dad. Rainey, talk to me so far what we've seen in this Coronation Day number 8. Anything that's popping out? Any highlights? Any fun moments?
To me, I think Graveyard is the highlight.
Yeah.
Just to
Fun.
see it played successfully. I'm a little bit concerned for Ash because it seemed like against Royal Giant Furnace, well, actually that deck is out now, right? So it's actually going to be a Golem mirror match and
Hog Lightning and Lava Hound are the other 4 decks. I hope one of those 2 players go on to win the whole thing, because once we add one of those 2 players to our wall, if they win, we'll have A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
Nice.
Look at
And
that.
one of them will have the chance to win $15,000 at the end of this. Crazy.
That's right, guys. These Coronation Days, we are finding 16 champions to move on to the arena battles. We're going to go into the crown duels, and that is the prize we're taking home. Also, the trip to Supercell HQ,
baby.
And today, they are not walking away with anything. First place of the Coronation Day takes home $2,000. Second place, $500. Third and fourth, $300. And fifth through eighth, $100 each.
And unfortunately, you guys at home don't really get anything except you get to send us haikus.
Hey!
they get the pleasure of enjoying the presence of
They get
Rumham.
knowledge.
Yeah.
They get
Art.
They get
Art.
Yeah.
Culture.
You know what I love more than knowledge? Lamborghinis.
Oh,
They
man.
get Lamborghinis are
Okay,
fantastic one.
send us your haikus. Probably not about Lamborghinis, but
they're great
about
cars.
this awesome game that
4
we're.
syllables right there.
Yeah, one more.
Yeah, that's too much.
Lamborghini.
My
Not-
Lamborghini,
Lamborghini, one from the North Open.
So coming up next, we've
Send
got
some good ones.
Swood versus Manly. Swood, been here before.
Yeah, we've seen him.
Manly, no. Is this Manly's first time?
Manly has definitely made the top 16, top 32. I've seen him in the earlier rounds when we're rehearsing. I kind of watch.
Yeah,
who's
the
going to make
bracket,
the
the
top
qualifiers
8.
up here.
Made it through. This is his first time in the top 8.
Hey, welcome,
but
man.
Swiggity Swooty coming for that trophy.
Do we
Coming for
remember
Manly.
what he played last time and how it compares to
Coming for that
what he
trophy.
played now?
I do not remember because I think Swood got bumped in the round of 8 last time. I'm not sure. He either made the round of 8 or the round of 4. Did not make the finals last
Didn't make it
time.
to the finals. Well, here we go in the round of 8. Swood versus Manly.
Who's
is-
gonna take it?
Manly is playing a minor fireball, kind of a minor cycled, actually very, very low elixir cost. Not a single card in this deck costs more than 4, and that's just a single fireball. So a very fast-paced minor deck looking to go under other strategies just like this. Whenever Golem's played, just get right in there as aggressively as possible. Going up against Golem, Baby Dragon, Lightning. The new
Cannon?
darling.
You're playing Cannon?
Yeah, buddy. Look at that.
I'm
that thing
actually
right towards the
really, I'm going to be, that's actually a pretty good Golem defense right there.
I mean, think of all the Hog Lightning decks we've been seeing recently, right? You can't,
Yes.
you can Lightning a cannon, but it's not too great to do so. The greatest part about Clash Royale is just when you think a card like quote unquote isn't good anymore, it comes back because people start to forget about it. They don't account for it.
Yeah.
So they play decks that are inadvertently weak to unplayed
Yeah.
cards, and then
Yeah.
those cards become good again. That's sort of what happened to Baby Dragon. If you see people start to switch back to Musketeer, maybe that ever popular Baby Dragon becomes less good.
500 damage from the miner, and that's about the most you can expect from it if it's getting shot at by the tower. And so far, I think they're just going to be trading back and forth Yetis.
I love that Ice Golem. Blowing up the skeletons has been a huge improvement to that card. I mean, this is just nice. Like, boink, pretty useful.
Is there a
Let's see if another
miner that's
miner comes
following the guards? Nope. Baby Dragon does really well against guards.
I think Manly's deck is going to be very dangerous as well once we hit into double elixir time because it can be really fast. It can almost cast another miner as soon as the first miner push goes down. Ooh, Ice Golem just in the nick of time.
Gonna slow down the Golem, and I think that's gonna be a key interaction because now it doesn't get the big death damage on a tower. Gets a few tiny little swings on a Golem Ice, but nothing too grievous. I think this miner, well placed on a miner, really wants to make sure he attracts the middle units, the middle placed units like the Tombstone and the Skeletons. That allows the supporting troops to get much closer, and this archer gets a shot for it.
Great fireball there. I mean, really countered any sort of counter push that would have come up. Killed the Mega Minion. Tombstone was dead to the other supporting troops, and even though he didn't do too much damage on the tower, he doesn't have to worry about that counter punch coming at him. And it looks like another miner's going to come down.
Here it is. Baby Dragon already locking onto it. The cannon is placed really, really, really early on, and that's going to expose it to the Mega Minion. All of a sudden, that cannon is not long for living in the world, but
Pretty valuable fireball there. I mean, he hit a lot of stuff. I mean, he hit Mega Minion, Ice Golem, Baby Dragon, Golem.
I think Swood actually hit that point where his deck starts really getting ahead in terms of double elixir, and Manly has to very inefficiently defend against these golems, and it actually makes it to the tower. There's one big swing, there's two big swings, and now the death damage is going to come through.
No.
Baby Dragon cleaning up the archers.
That's it. I think what he wanted to do there was actually fireball the Golemites as soon as they come out and wipe them off the board. And unfortunately, the fireball was a little too soon, hit the Golem and caused it to die, but then the Golemites came out full health.
All right, there we go. Swood picking up game number 1 in our third round of 8 here. Again, one of these two players will be moving on to the semi-finals. All right, one thing I want to talk about, since you kind of teased Marcel P giving you a tough time about leaking elixir. What was his? What was your conversation? What did you guys talk about?
It was a rather long conversation. He was lecturing me about how I'm a big dummy dumb, which is fair. I don't disagree.
You are not a dummy.
But
Why am I
Marcel
taking
P,
advice
he's not a
from you?
dummy dumb.
Because
Tell Marcel P to hit me up.
it's right. It goes,
Marcel P, tell me how to build my
dumbest,
decks.
right? And it goes right in order. No, what he was pointing out was that every card in these decks are very specific, have exact matchups you want to pair them up against. Archers, Baby Dragon, Mega Minion, all very different cards. There's not a lot of redundancy in those effects, right? It's not like, oh, I have Mini P.E.K.K.A. and Mega Minion, so I can play one, and I'll always have the other if something comes up. So the danger is that if you do something like Tombstone first, well then great, they go down the other lane. You play Mega Minion, great, they can Hog Rider the other lane. You split the Archers, that's maybe okay, except that you're pretty much walking into a 1.5 elixir loss on both sides, and then if they play something like a Mega Minion, you don't have your Archers to kill
counter it.
theirs, so they go like giant Mega Minion, and you're like, cool, I don't have a way to really
Then
pull this Mega
what are you
Minion
supposed
away.
to do? Just wait until the other person, just have a standoff until somebody plays a card?
He admitted the log wasn't the worst idea, especially because you have Bowler as well, so you do have a
You're not
knockback.
a dumb,
So I don't remember if he had it in his hand, but he said that okay, well maybe you could just log for the damage and you know, try to do that, and force him to do something. So.
Hopefully you have that in your hand then, I guess.
Yeah, so there you go. If you are leaking elixir, don't feel super bad. That just means you are a genius waiting for the opportune moment. Right now, Swoot looking for that moment. One more game, and he'll move on to the semifinals. Let's see if Manly can come back and tie it up.
For what it's worth, I still think splitting archers would have been fine. All right, so we've got Ice Golem and archers coming down the left lane. That's a pretty good push. I mean, it's only 5 elixir, and if it's totally undefended, which I'm not saying it's going to be, but if it's undefended, that could probably do 1,500 plus damage to a tower.
You know what the miner reminds me of these chip decks? It reminds me of the Shawshank Redemption.
You and your obscure references.
Yeah, okay.
That was movie of the year, 1996. Not that obscure. Won the Academy Award, man.
Just comparing
The miner
things
is
to war
digging
and,
his
and
way
movies
through the
and-
structure.
Oh,
I
like Andy
see.
Dufresne?
Yeah.
See,
I get
Yeah,
it.
now you guys get it?
the difference is he doesn't pop up and like rip his shirt open.
That's true.
But hey, maybe for like a special edition, Super Cell. Huh?
That's the YMCA, the Village People miner.
Yep.
They had a construction worker.
There you go.
It's not magic, it's a shovel.
Here it comes, and a free.
That's a phrase to quote. It's not
Now, I love
magic,
the log.
it's a
Oh,
shovel.
wow. So here's the thing, though. Even though he is stopping these pushes, I feel like he's spending a little bit more elixir than he would want. He had to. Actually, I guess that was a log and a zap. That was only 4 elixir to stop that. That's pretty decent.
That's what's amazing. Is like log is so cheap. It's such a good card.
Yeah. Oh, it's arrows. So 5 elixir to stop 6 elixir, took a little damage. Man, it's kind of a push, I guess. But it does show that so many decks now are running 3 spells, often 2 cheap ones, like log or zap and an arrow, some combination of those two, that it makes it really hard to play expensive troops that happen to die to one or both of those spells. We don't see nearly as many minions or minion hordes or even barbarians that we used to, because so many decks are able to run like log plus fireball and wipe out your barbarians pretty easily.
We haven't seen. I don't think we've seen barbarians yet.
I do not believe there's been a debut of the
No,
barbarians.
someone.
Somebody bring it.
Someone. They want to play.
Sunday's
Too many
Barbarian
bowlers.
Day.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's super
Yeah.
true.
Barbs versus bowler, very sad day all around. Yeah.
What exactly does a bowler say now?
Actually, he says something like bowl, like like he said. I think he's saying the word bowl. Because his old sound effect had like the bowling pin knockdown sound effect.
The
I think that
next
might have been
time-
too obscure.
The next time this bowler attacks, can we have a moment of silence just
Yeah,
to see?
We're listening.
All right. Just, it'll take a while. Oh, hold on.
Yeah. It's not like he said bowling.
It's not quite as
Supercell, please.
uplifting as it was before.
Actually,
I
hilarious.
definitely like the whole wheat, as OJ would call it.
Oh,
Wheat.
all right.
healthy?
Giant Musketeer coming across the left side for Swood. And Musketeer is actually another card that we haven't seen a ton of. We've
Check it
been
out,
starting to
Surrounding
see
that
it with Giant Bowler kind of holding up what used to be for Giant Poison kind of the core set of cards. Musketeer was very, very core to that deck. And I think it still does have a justifiable place in the meta against things like Mega Minion especially.
Especially Mega Minion. And of course the up and rising Baby Dragon. So we're
Yes.
pretty even going into overtime here. Both towers, the Manly's left tower and Swood's right tower, nearly at the same amount of health. The minion cycles are going to be pretty good, but of course you're going to have to do 2 to 3 of them, and you can't die to a random giant push along the way. So Manly has to play his cards very safely here, not walk into too many bad lightnings.
Man, that giant just narrowly escaped the Ice Golem slow after it popped and allowed it to get 2 swings. I imagine that if the slow had landed, I feel like it wouldn't have gotten a swing at all.
Very good point. Those archers do a good amount of sustained DPS. Oh no! The bowler gets turned around, the guards are up top!
Whoa!
The guards are doing a ton of damage to the bowler, and it needs to stand strong, and it barely does. Tombstone helping it out just a little bit. But this game is coming down to the wire. Both players are pretty even. Giant bowler versus a minor chip.
About as evenly matched as you could hope for.
Yeah. Manly, again, trying to stay
Oh.
alive right now. If he loses this one, he is out, and Swood will be moving on.
I like to point out that the cannon's so much better than Tombstone when everyone's running log because you don't get that sort of hog log thing
yeah.
we saw where the log just completely aces your Tombstone. He tried to log the cannon, it survived with a good amount of health.
That's it.
Oh, lightning.
That's it.
Oh, I was like, here at the King Tower. What's he doing? That makes sense.
Good game.
There it is. Swoon picking up game number 2 in our first 2-0 of Coronation Day number 8. He is moving on to be our third semifinalist. Good job, Swoon. Well done. Well done, Swoon. Congratulations. One step closer to $2,000. That's a sweet day.
So, Rainey, talk to me a little bit more about that cannon. You're kind of cringing that he was using it.
Cannon, well, the cringe was just the cringe was just that it's so rarely seen now, and for the longest time, cannon has just kind of been put to the wayside. And I think actually one of the biggest reasons was because before poison was so prominent, almost anywhere you place a cannon, your cannon would get poisoned, your tower would get poisoned, and cannon is really relying on shooting fast, right? Yeah. Once you put that poison down, it shoots like it's, you know, getting paid for halftime, right? And so...
Well, if Cannon, or if Baby Dragon can make a comeback, then Cannon can make a comeback, right?
That's true, and for 3 elixir only, you know, the cannon actually did a lot against things like both the giant and the golem in these matches that we've been seeing. Cannon has been doing fantastic, I think.
Well, let's go ahead and pull up our first replay where we've got the double golem here.
Double trouble, double golem is a really big indication. I mean, just look at how many supporting troops are live on the field right now with the golemites tanking. That's a big indicator that you are getting overpowered by a golem deck right now, especially this deep into double elixir time. This is the common winning situation for a golem deck where you can't put out enough damage to actually kill the thing. I mean, look at that. 4 archers on the field, played the fireball, still could not take down that golem before it got to the tower.
Yeah. And that was, I think, Manly's deck, and you kind of see this on both sides, had a really hard time both on offense and defense, was kind of playing with like pillow punches. You know what I mean? He's got the archers, guards, Mega Minion, like they do good damage, but none of those things do Inferno Tower damage. None of those things do Barbarian or Mini P.E.K.K.A style damage where you could really chop down these golems, these giants very quickly, and it let those big tanks just swagger up to the tower and at least get some damage. And that was grinding it out. When you saw Manly go for his minor pushes, if they were countered at all, the counter attack with Giant would at least get some through, and eventually just got grinded out deep into overtime. Manly, not so manly today. Boyish almost.
Whoa! And as Romham says that, I also just want to remind you guys though, to get here to the top 8 is it's a huge feat in and of itself.
Absolutely.
Already over 200,000 of you guys at home have gone to our open qualifier, so these right now are the cream of the crop. Again, a broadcast reminder for you guys, Sunday, Monday, and Wednesdays, 6 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and Thursdays now. Welcome to our first 8 o'clock p.m., and every Thursday henceforth will be so.
Who do we have next?
We've got Razor of Clout Gaming, one of the more accomplished tournament clans out there, against EPRU.
I wasn't really sure how to say that.
Yeah, Erpu. But from a clan never heard of, Energy Pacemaker, making their first appearance in the top 8.
Hey, Energy Pacemaker, welcome to Clash Royale North American Opens. Good to see you. You can give Reddit Alpha a run for their money.
Absolutely. And actually, I believe there's no Reddit Alpha people remaining unless Awesome Adam is a sneaky, he didn't mention his clan. So unless one of them is from Reddit Alpha, I believe we're going to have our first finals in a while.
Okay, well, here's first game of our next match, Razor versus EPRU. Who's going to take it?
It's Energy Pacemaker. Russia.
That might be it. Or you're right. I'm not exactly sure. But hopefully not from Russia. Maybe Russian American.
Right.
Anyways, we've got...
Lumberjack has too much work cut out for him.
Lumberjack is great against Graveyard because of his super fast attack speed.
That's right.
He's killing those skeletons almost as fast as they come out.
No. It's like whack-a-mole for him.
Yeah, that's the exact visual that I
The
had.
only thing that starts getting sketchy for the Lumberjack is if the skeletons start popping up in opposite sides and Lumberjack finds himself having to run around.
Lumberjack is built survival horror. He is ready to fight any of these Walking Dead skeletons. Yeah. Razor is blending a Golem Lumberjack deck. We actually saw, remember a few Coronation days ago, that really impressive Lumberjack that tied the game up. I believe it was for Clyde.
I'm excited to see that again.
And he's going up against, what is the Graveyard deck of Erpu? It is actually, it's weird. This is a double skeleton. It's got Skeleton Army and Graveyard, a couple mini tanks out there. Looking to really surprise people.
Man, that was really interesting. Okay, hold on. Skeleton Army for defense here, and that golem is not... big log gonna tank down all the skeletons, and now all you have is an Ice Wizard. which, I mean, look how slowly the Golem is moving. The Mega Minion might be able to do it. No, kill it, kill it, kill it. Oh no. Well,
ooh, what a lightning. And here comes the skeleton army in behind.
I think this will hurt a lot. Knight gets in the way, but there's already a few skeletons locked in the tower. Knight, quick, you need to attack faster. Be more like the Lumberjack, but no, 770 health left.
Poor Knight.
You just gotta give him some rage.
And now, look, this is what happens when you fail Emperor.
Oh. EPRU is getting a taste of his own medicine. He was hoping to bring the maximum number of doot skeletons to the battle, and instead he falls victim to a skeleton himself.
Yikes.
Actually, both players playing double skeleton cards. We've got Tombstone and Skeleton Army on the other side.
All right. Ices are just barely tanking for the graveyard. These archers are going to make short work of that.
But some have locked on, do some good damage. If that was a Musketeer, another advantage for archers, that was Musketeer instead of archers, that graveyard would have very quickly overwhelmed the tower. But the double firing bodies of the archers has done a really good job. Oh, the Tower of the Beast. Oh, and it goes
the
down.
Lumberjack
makes it!
Oh, hold on, he's getting distracted, but he's going to go as fast as he can.
And now he's the target. Nope, run out of the way. Oh, he did. He ran out of the tower's range.
Wow.
And now he's going to take for the Golemites.
And then he's gonna rage him.
He's going to rage the Golemites. Meanwhile, on the left side, the graveyard is trying to do a bit of damage here. And I think it's going to get a little bit of chip, but not quite enough.
The Skeleton Army was played on defense to match the graveyard, meet them head on, and kept that card from locking on too much. We've seen how deadly Graveyard is already. We might get another chance to see that Graveyard deck as Razor has to switch. EPRU
That's right.
can stick with it.
So
We're running the
this-
double deck format here. Once you win with one, you have to switch. You have to win with both to move on.
I love Lumberjack.
Razor just won.
So fun.
Right. With that fun, I mean, Lumberjack is one of the most fun cards, one of the most satisfying cards in Clash Royale. It runs really fast, attacks really fast, and when it dies, leaves behind a
Makes
free
everyone
2
else-
elixir card,
Yeah.
just drops it on the ground for
Yeah.
anyone to use.
I wonder, have we seen Lumberjack and Log? Are they in the same deck?
They are in the same deck, yeah.
Man, I wish there was like
that's-
some fun interaction between the two if you played them at the same time.
Ooh, somebody write a haiku about it. Do it!
Oh, Hakus, yeah.
Well, it's actually one of the...
Hashtag Clash NA Open, Lumberjack and Log. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and this is one of the
Write about it.
last
Send it right now.
one of your last opportunities to send in
Yes.
haikus, so make sure to get them in now. Don't wait till the end of this match,
No,
because
that would
might be too
silly.
late.
You would not get your haiku read.
That's right.
Isn't that what you want?
Yeah, that's what. Don't you want to be seen
Fame,
in front
glory,
of-
fortune,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Glory,
And
Lamborghinis.
and knowledge. So, all right, going into now our game number 2 of Razor and EPRU. Do you think that EPRU should switch his deck, or should he bring the same deck against what Razor has to switch to? What does Razor have to switch to? I guess that'd be the first question.
Razor's going to be playing Hog Lightning.
Okay.
With a little difference from the ones we've seen. It's got Inferno Tower, it's got Princess, it's got Skeleton Army.
Oh.
We actually saw a deck like this, and if you remember, it did really well until it bumped into a bowler deck, and the bowler just like rocked everything
It
in
doesn't
it.
have that.
No bowler though in either EPRU's deck, so we might see Razor's Hog Lightning deck do pretty well. It's hard to say. Both of his decks have really good splash. They both have Log. One has Baby Dragon, the other has Ice Wizard. I think he's got a pretty good shot with either.
All right, well, let us know in chat who you think is going to take this one.
Graveyard, please. I've been thinking Graveyard as a 5 elixir card, it's very difficult to actually assist the Graveyard with anything after you drop it down. Perhaps the best spell even is thinking about something like Poison.
And no matter who wins this matchup, we will see our nth Coronation Day in a row where all of the top 4 running double Mega Minion.
Yes.
All 8 of the top 4 players.
Mega
all 8
Minion.
decks of top 4 players. Probably the best card in the
here it
game right
is.
now. Uh-oh.
Oh, but the Log is going to take down the Skeleton Army, and here comes the Graveyard. No, it's already petered out, I think.
It's got a little more time to it, but you're right. The Inferno Tower
1,
there
2,
is not
3.
I mean, for chip damage, that's not bad.
Yeah, not really what you want for 5 elixir. I agree. That Graveyard not going to do it. This deck's super interesting. We mentioned last time that AJ, a player in yesterday's top 8,
Super unique.
very unique deck. And this is kind of similar. It's a deck full of little mini tanks. You've got Mega Minion, Ice Wizard, Knight, and then he's got both Skeleton Army and Graveyard really hoping to overwhelm. The cool thing is that if you get into double elixir, we haven't seen it yet, he probably, oh, great Log.
Doesn't
He
quite get the
probably
Ice Spirit.
Could play tanks on both sides and then try to do Graveyard on one side, Skeleton Army on the other, and really force the player into a bad position.
Huh. You think he'd also split his Skeleton Army?
Good, for sure.
Let's see if that happens. Again, Razor, if he wins this one, he will move on to the semifinals. It's up to EPRU right now to tie it up.
Ice Wizard tanks the tower almost as well as a Knight because he slows the attack speed up, and even though he doesn't have as much hit points, it slows it down a lot. Oh no, another Skeleton Army, that log needs to be a little quicker. We saw how Razor was playing that log preemptively, wiped out the Skeleton Army to allow his Hog Rider to run free, but EPRU is sort of waiting
The Mega
to see
Minion
it.
just ditched the tower.
Yeah, I wasn't interested anymore.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm done defending you right now. I'm done. Don't pay me now.
Graveyard is such an interesting card because even at the tail end, if you have 4 skeletons right on the tower, it can do a significant amount of damage, trying to pair the Hog with the log to take down the Skeleton Army. But didn't quite work out because Epru just decided to not play it.
What I like about that though is like, it's the threat. It's like, all right, I'm gonna play my log right here, so like, go ahead, play your Skeleton Army, I dare you.
And just like that, we see the tough challenges these players have to make. A Skeleton Army was there to block the graveyard on the left. The Princess was locked onto the tower on the right. Had EPRU opted to use the log on the right side, oh, another one. I mean, you see how tough that is. Do you log the Skeleton Army that's defending against your graveyard? Or do you log the Princess who's locked onto your tower?
And that's really what Razor is pushing his opponent to do. Mega Minion plus Graveyard. He's just trying to cycle graveyards, it feels like, at this point.
Wow.
Definitely. That time misses the Skeleton Army. I feel like Razor has a much higher hit rate in terms of landing those really dangerous spells.
There it is, clearing out the way, but with the slow, I don't think that Hog Rider is going to get a swing.
Ice Wizard's so good on defense.
The positioning of the log is so important. Now the thing is, Razor has already, this is where the mind games come in, right? Because Razor has already showed his hand. He's going to wait on the Skeleton Army a little bit. And that time, it's a guess, right? You want to pre-throw your log so that the instant Skeleton Army drops, the log is already on its way. But if you throw it too early, the last situation can happen where Razor just holds, waits for the log to pass over, and then plays the Skeleton Army, and it makes a big difference.
So now, is Razor's left tower Fireball log range yet, or not quite?
Not quite. It'll be a little short.
All right.
Oh, but that lightning, now he's got to make a play for it because that is definitely within lightning range.
So this all comes out. I feel like the play should actually be a Graveyard Fireball log to make sure that he gets something. Okay, he's going to take down the tower.
Now he's got to answer the, okay. So
oh, hold on. No.
Princess shoots again.
It's the next one. Oh, Razor, the final shot from Princess before that tower goes down to do it. Razor going to be our final semifinalist. Moving on one step closer, $2,000 in Coronation Day number 8. We are we're almost halfway done with this entire series. 8 amazing players so far that we've been seeing. Again, if you guys want to participate at home, you can. We still have 8 more of these after this. Go over to ClashRoyaleOpen.com where you could sign up and be a part of this. $15,000 in the end prize. Trip to Supercell. If you make it here, you're at least making $100. So
yeah, why not?
Why not?
There's no reason not
I
to.
tried. They kicked me out. You could beat me.
You buy a mountain of gems for that
You
much.
could totally beat me. Yeah.
A mountain
of gems. Can you imagine that?
Okay, so I have a question about that game. Skeleton Army versus Graveyard. Was that an ideal defense there, or something else would have been better? I mean, I don't know.
They kind of aren't even, right? Like, oh, okay, the Skeleton Army and the Graveyard, they kind of fight each other to a draw, except that Skeleton Army costs 3 and Graveyard costs 5, so the Skeleton Army player is getting ahead in Elixir in that way, and that really works out. I think what EPR's deck there was trying to do was you waited for the 1 arrows, the 1 log, the 1 zap to come out, and then you have these great swarm cards to punish them. But Razor's deck had Princess and Log and Ice Spirit, like a lot of splash cards, and even just something like Mega Minion wasn't terrible at defending against Graveyard. I mean, you might have taken some damage if you defended with only a Mega Minion, but it was certainly better than losing your whole tower.
Sure. Randy, talk to me a little about, you were saying earlier on that 6 Elixir is pretty common for a Hog Rider plus spell combo. Why is that the sweet number?
Because, I mean, 2 Elixir is kind of the cheapest you can go to have something of substance, right? Of course, that means when Ice Spirit is really strong, Hog Rider, Ice Spirit is kind of the go-to combo. And really, you want to play Hog Rider plus something else, and that's going to be the kind of the most effective that you can do if you're going to drop things at the bridge to try to get instant effect without spending so much elixir that you're just emptying your pockets and then leaving your pants down for it, you know?
Oh, I think
it's almost always been 6 elixir if you think historically. Rainey and I have gone through all the different balance updates. We've been casting this together for months and months and months. Used to be Hog Goblins, and then people would zap it. So then it became Hog Guards, because you couldn't zap it, but then people would poison it, and then the guards would die. So people were like, Hog Fire Spirit, so they could blow up on like minions or anything like that that we played.
That's cool. Hog's the centerpiece.
But now it's Hog Log.
All right, well, let's go into our replay. We got the Golem, we got the Skeleton Army.
All those skellies.
Yeah, I think that really using Ice Wizard on defense is a great idea, and it works really well against Golems, but I think Golem is just a little bit too healthy, and the fact that the Ice Wizard is 3 elixir that doesn't necessarily contribute a lot of damage on his own makes it tough to really justify in that scenario.
And that play you saw right there is something that Razor did multiple times. And, he would play the Hog and then be comfortable enough to make the gamble to throw the log down, and I would say 3 times throughout the course of that game was able to nail a freshly placed skeleton army, and that allowed his Hog Rider to consistently get up there and do damage. When his left tower was down to 24 health at the end of the game there, you could see just how close these games are, and I think Razor won that on the back of his very excellent log predictions.
Ooh. Well, let's take a look at that brickety bracket so you can walk us through what's been happening so far tonight.
Swood and Razor will make it onto the semifinals, and I think that both of them have played very admirably. One of the graveyard decks is out, and there is no Reddit Alpha member to be found.
Oh no!
What year is this?
That we know. If Awesome, like I said, Awesome Adam might be playing a little sneaky, right?
Yeah, he might be going undercover, taking off
really
the
sure.
flags.
Yeah.
I didn't see the clan on. You have to tell me when we watch the next match.
At the end, he's like, I am Reddit Alpha.
Yeah.
We're like, what?
EPR,
Sneaky.
great job. Another innovative deck builder, had a really cool graveyard skeleton army deck that we haven't really seen before, but it wasn't quite good enough. I'm gonna be nice to you because you made a cool graveyard deck, and you just regular lose.
You just regular lose, but you're not going home with nothing. You got $100. Congratulations again for making it here. But ladies and gentlemen, we have our semifinals. Quick reminder, you're watching this on Facebook, go ahead and click that share button. If you're watching this on YouTube, please go ahead and subscribe. And if you're watching this on Twitch, go ahead and give us a follow. We really appreciate it. We want to let everyone see these amazing players. These guys really deserve it. They put in time and time and time, hours of this player. Open qualifiers happen before the show goes live. And these guys are playing up until the point that if they make it, they're playing to the show, they're playing late into the night, and they'll be going on. So a lot of time for these guys. We want to make sure they get the recognition that they deserve. And we thank you guys because your community, you guys are just awesome. You guys are just amazing, awesome people. Reminder also, haiku. We're going to be reading a haiku when we come up.
It's coming up next.
That's right. Our next matchup, though, when we come back from the break, is our first semifinals. It is Ash versus Awesome Adam. Don't go anywhere.
You know what's funny? Awesome Adam is Reddit Alpha.
There we go. He's there. Reddit Alpha's staying alive right now. Don't go anywhere.
Just kidding.
We'll be right back.
Disregard everything we just said.
These are the rules of the duel. All duels must have appropriately epic music.
Clash Royale! Bigger fights with everyone! Clash Royale! It's got lightning and skeletons. Duel players in real time. Destroy towers in real time. While your troops take a stand, now you've got the upper hand. Destroy the king when the ground and Clash Royale!
That was a rule of the duel, a most ridiculous duel. Clash Royale. These are the rules of the duel. Anything goes in the arena, and anything goes inside the goblin hunt. Anything. A most ridiculous duel. Clash Royale. These are the rules of the duel. The grass in the arena must be properly cut. It's a full-time job. That was the rule of the duel. A most ridiculous duel. Clash Royale. These are the rules of the duel. The winner takes the loser's trophies. And their dignity. That was a rule of the duel. A most ridiculous duel. Clash Royale.
welcome back, Clashers and Clashettes, to the official Supercell Clash Royale North American Open.
That's right, guys. If you are just now tuning in, we are into our semifinals, where we have 4 remaining, all one step closer to that $2,000. Before we though get to your beautiful haikus, a quick reminder of our broadcast. We broadcast this every Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Sunday, Monday, and Wednesday, 6 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And on Thursdays, 8 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Thank you all for tuning in on such a beautifully evening. My brain was like, what word are you saying?
It's definitely after dark.
Yeah, it's
Definitely.
Sleepy time, Christian.
It's past our bedtime.
Christian,
This is way
Christian
past my
actually goes
bedtime.
to bed at 7 p.m.
Yeah,
usually.
yeah. So usually right as the show is ending, normally I'm out. I am done. So this
We
is,
actually just sleep right here.
yeah. That's exactly right. We
In
are
our little den.
we're already way past.
Forever.
We just want to remind you guys, if you're watching this on Facebook, go ahead and click that share button. If you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe. If you're watching this on Twitch, please give us that follow. We really appreciate it.
Yep. And now we have our haiku of the night.
That's right.
This one is sent to us from X Chills.
Hey.
Towers fall swiftly, legends, weapons, and beasts charge. Triple crowns for all.
Oh, that makes you feel amazing.
I feel like these haikus are getting better and
I
better and better.
want to go conquer
know.
the world right now.
I know.
They're actually
Anyone can get a triple crown win.
Yeah.
the thing about these haikus is they're getting better and better and better. But I used to love the bad one.
So basically, just keep making him good and/or make him purposely bad.
I really liked Hazard. Hazard had a really good one as well.
The balloon.
It was giant loon. The combo that brings you doom kills you with a boom.
Towers go boom. Oh,
575 and rhymes.
well done. You guys, you are the stars. You at home are the superstars. Let's go now and pull up the bracket as we're getting ready for our first match of the semifinals. We've got Ash versus Awesome Adam up first. Rumham, Rainey, these two players. Ash returning. Awesome Adam, first time we've seen him representing Reddit Alpha.
Wait, what?
As we were saying. So, all right. Who's your guy? Who's the go-to? Guy, girl. Who's your player? Who do you think's gonna take this?
You know what? As a YouTuber, I guess I gotta go with my fellow YouTuber, Ash.
Gotta
He
go with Ash.
only has 100 times the number of subscribers I do, so we're almost the
He's
same
probably
person. You're
pretty
right.
good.
Yeah. But here's the thing. Ash is a very consistently strong player, brought 2 awesome, powerful decks, and I think
Let's pull him
that
up.
he's also been here before. He's got the top 8 experience of having been here before, so
Yep.
maybe this time he can get the nerves settled, learn the matchups a little better, and take that title
And
tonight.
he's got a graveyard.
Awesome Adam
Oh,
is
yeah.
representing Reddit Alpha, and Reddit Alpha does not kid around.
Reddit Alpha does not lose.
Reddit Alpha needs to be in the finals. What is the
already
statistic
have.
on Reddit Alpha in the finals?
Oh man.
Well, the last 2 Coronation Day finals have been Reddit Alpha mirror matches, and weirdly enough, totally different people every time. That's actually the 3rd time that we've had finals made up of Reddit clan steps, because Ender Marcel P was the first Coronation as well.
So talented you all are.
Yeah, it's 50 really good players apparently, because we keep seeing they keep
Prime.
popping up like the cockroaches. Really nice.
They keep popping up like graveyards. Let's go with that.
How about that? Really skilled graveyards.
Graveyards. That's exactly what they keep popping up.
better.
Oh my God, we're not gonna hear the end of it.
Reddit Alpha's like, how dare you?
It's just gonna be on Twitter.
Well, I'll see Woody this weekend. He can punch me in the face himself.
Yes, that's right. We will be at the King's Con.
That's right. Right here in Los Angeles,
Los
California.
Angeles.
We'll be there. The winner of that event gets to play against some of the other YouTubers real life. Ash maybe can go himself.
So they're
win 2
playing
events in the same week.
Wow.
That means they get to play against you?
I will be there. I will not be making the top 16 because I'm bad.
Why do I let you tell me what to do in my decks?
Because you don't know any
He's
better.
too modest. He's too modest. He's
The
amazing.
truth comes out live.
Ladies and gentlemen, right now the semifinals are underway. Ash versus Awesome Adam. The A's of the group. One of these guys will be moving on to the finals. Let us know who you think it's going to be.
Far better than mediocre Adam is Awesome Adam.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that 3-3 split. That's actually really hard to do with minions.
That's not only hard to do, but a great placement because it's swarming the Inferno Tower and lets the Lava Hound get much closer before going down.
There's the miner to tank for the pups. Hold on, they're getting
Mega
too
Minion.
close for comfort. The Mega Minion too, it's gonna go on the pups. No, it's going on the Mega Minion. I'm not looking at things properly, but that's still a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Just a pup. It was just spitting on that tower, 1654.
They're at the same exact elixir right now. That makes me he's not going to get close to the tower, so a great first push there for Ash.
Yeah, I think one of the key cards in Awesome Adam's deck that so far has really impressed me, even though he's fallen behind a little bit, Princess is going to do some work here. Princess is going to be great against all the different minions, the lava pups, and even things like the tombstone there in the middle.
There's a log.
He just got to make sure to protect it as much as he can.
Ash really wanted that tombstone to be more effective against the Hog Rider. Played the Lava Hound as kind of like, oh, okay, I'll take you up on this little crazy ride. And in the end, got punished a little bit for it. Plus, the Inferno Tower actually locked straight onto the Lava Hound. Man, that was a good exchange for Awesome Adam.
Absolutely. Big downside of these big tank and lightning decks, the last card in Ash's deck is a lightning. Big problem is that you need to have, well, at least 13 elixir if you're going to pull that off. And if you want to have something like minions backing it up, it's even more. Until you hit double elixir time, really hard to pull that off. And here's where we're going to see Tombstone kind of be deadly. He opts not to play it because last time he got hog-logged.
Yes. I think that's a good adaptation for Ash because he knows that, I mean, Awesome Adam was just looking for it, right? He was just waiting for him to play the Tombstone.
Look at that. Oh.
The next question for Awesome Adam is, okay, now that you know that your opponent will trade Minion Horde to your Hog Rider, what are you going to do past this point?
Expect a log to come out here? Maybe not. Just going to let that happen. He's going to leave it behind because he needs to defend the Lava Hound more.
Ooh, Skeleton Army.
Oh! Doesn't kill the army, though.
Wow.
The arrows was for the Princess, and the Skeleton Army was placed far enough away that it would avoid that damage. Is there a log in hand? And I think Ash fell into the same. Oh, there it is. Oh, but the Hog Rider still took a swing. It was just a little bit late.
Yeah.
If the Hog Rider gets that second swing on Tombstone, it's very unlikely that he'll actually swing on the tower.
You're right, because you basically want to time the log so that the Hog Rider, as soon as that first Hog Rider hit lands, the log hits, because it'll finish off the Tombstone and take the skeletons. You don't want to waste even a half second on that Tombstone longer than you have to.
Oh, probably has to arrows down the Princess because this Princess is going to get a ton of value. Already killed minions. Oh, takes down the Minion Horde as well, and now the Lava Hound is looking to be in a really bad spot. Skeleton Army is available for defense against the Spider because arrows is already taken out. I really like the way Awesome Adam's deck is playing out.
Yeah.
It seems like he's got his line of play really. Oh, the skeleton block! Oh, the timing was perfect. And even with the Mega Minion drop plus a Tombstone, the Hog Rider still got a swing. Hey, that's 2 lightnings away. Just buy yourself 2 lightnings, and you're looking in good shape for this match.
I'm surprised that Ash hasn't played a single lightning yet this game. And just that kind of. Oh no! Missed the arrows, didn't hit the Princess, and there's no Skeleton Army player. Who knows?
3. Oh!
Definitely can be spelled down.
There it is.
There it is. Man, these players are really pushing themselves. And I remember one fateful day, Rumham and I had a conversation very early on when we were first getting acquainted with each other. And we were talking about, hey, in the competitive scene of Clash Royale, there will come a point where players are going to have to make these big risks. They're going to have to take risks because everybody is playing at such a high level that you need to make a read on your opponent. You need to know what your opponent is going to do, take these risks, and then reap huge benefits off of them. Because if you don't, it's basically going to be a tic-tac mechanical battle that if you get behind in even the slightest way, you're going to lose. And that's kind of the risk that
That's what we're seeing.
I mean, that's the poker part. That's the poker element of Clash Royale. At some point, players are going to get so good at knowing what the other player has and knowing when they're going to play it that they're going to be comfortable pre-firing arrows, and that's going to have to be the skill that wins you a world title in the future. Because you're not going to be able to get away with just playing reactively. Seeing it, taking some damage, then I'm going to log. Actually, Razor did it really well in his top 8 match, having those pre-fired logs consistently to wipe out Skeleton Army. Even if you miss 1 out of 3 or 4 times, the other times when you do hit, you gain so much of an advantage that it's worth it, and that's going to be the elite skill we're going to see players like that develop.
There you guys go. If you're listening at home, basically risk it for the biscuit. That's the phrase you want to be taking away from this one. Right now, Awesome Adam up 1-0 against Ash. We are still in a best of 3, so if Awesome Adam picks this up, he will be moving on to the finals. It's up to Ash right now to tie it up.
All right. Tombstone is a strong opening card. The attack helicopter moves across the field.
It does sound like an attack helicopter.
It does.
They're wings, but it sounds like a chopper to me. I hate it.
Yeah.
What is fixed? What are we proud of?
Mechanical wings. Oh,
right.
no.
Lava Hound versus
So far,
Golem.
this is looking pretty good for Ash. He's got not only his tank set up, but the support behind it. I think if the Mega Minion locks on the Baby Dragon, it should win that fight.
Lava Hound gets distracted by a Tombstone. Very well timed, but I think the Lava Hound might place the pups right above the tower. Oh, definitely now. And this is going to hurt.
Ooh, a little late on the miner.
Yeah, actually very late on the miner.
But look at it, because the backup squad is coming here.
Oh.
The Mega minions that were there to defend the golem finally arrive at the tower, and it's still alive.
Oh my God,
wow.
look how much damage the Mega Minion does. And one more, 92.
I say a little late, and Ash is like, oh no, actually, Christian, this was perfect. See?
Fashionably late.
This is fashionable. Exactly, Romeo.
And that's actually so
Fashionably.
much elixir and so many cards. Something must have gone terribly, terribly wrong for Awesome Adam, because we are not even in double elixir time. And you saw how much elixir ended up on that field just beating away at the tower. That means Adam got behind really, really badly.
Gonna stick to the tank plan, gonna try to get the Golem versus the Lava Hound. The catch here, well, both players are gonna play a lot of backline units with the idea that if they can race down the enemy tank first, their support can come back and save the day. We just saw that where the Golem died and the squad that was left behind to kill the Golem ended up taking the tower down.
Lava Hound is about to pop. Baby Dragon and the Archer will tank just a little bit, but there's a
Baby
miner
Dragon
there
beat
for
up.
Ash, and I think it might be able to do a ton of damage.
Wow.
Those pups are just chipping away,
wow.
and the Golem just barely makes it. I'm really starting to believe that trade between Golem and Lava Hound just is not working out. Of course, we're still just getting into double elixir time, and we know how much that changes the game for Golems. But it's looking incredibly convincing for the Lava Hound right now.
Yeah, the big challenge for Awesome Adam is to get that Baby Dragon in a way where it can kill just tons and tons of minions. It's killing the 3 squad of minions pretty well, but it's not really getting the value that we've seen in some of these games where the Baby Dragon just kills like dozens of elixirs worth of stuff early on.
That Baby Dragon drop might have been really big for Awesome Adam because it actually protected entirely the Mega Minion, and now there's 2 Mega Minions on Awesome Adam's side pushing across. Problem is, where's a Golem? There's no Golem to be seen right now, and so even if Awesome Adam is making these wins, his troops actually don't live long enough across the river to do any real kind of damage.
Yeah. I mean, big shout out to the Tombstone, which has been really good on both sides at pulling the tanks away. Feels like it's been a lot more effective against the Lava Hound, because it just doesn't do that much damage, but ultimately Awesome Adam, or Ash is able to pull it out with his Lava Hound deck, and we go to a game 3.
Woo!
Oh,
Game number 3
snap.
into the semifinals.
What happened for Awesome Adam there? Why was that such a big loss for him?
You know what? Looking at it, there's not a ton of things in Awesome Adam's deck that can deal with this a surge of minions. There's Baby Dragon, pretty good, but Log, not
Nope.
gonna do much.
Not in the air,
Ice
at least.
Golem, not gonna do much. Tombstone, okay, but not near as good because the skeletons don't attack it. Unlike when you see the giant and the golems, the skeletons build up and do a lot of damage to the tank. They just walk right under the Lava Hound. So Awesome Adam's holding at least 3 cards in that deck that are not terribly impressive against the Lava Hound deck. And meanwhile, just minions after Mega Minion are charging in. And the few things that Awesome Adam could play, like Mega Minion and Baby Dragon, could just be lightninged away. And that's...
Well, how's it look for him next game?
Well, we've got
Any better?
Hog Lightning against Golem Graveyard. No, I'm sorry, the Golem Graveyard deck. Oh, wait, Lava Hound just won. Yeah, sorry. So it's going to be Golem Graveyard against Hog Lightning.
Yeah.
But I'm not seeing a ton of things. Actually, take it back. Awesome Adam has Princess. He has Log. He should be able to defend against the Graveyard. The question is, can this Hog deck defend well against the Golem? He does have Inferno Tower, and there's no Lightning in Ash's deck. He's going to rely on a Zap to have to reset that Inferno Tower.
All right, we're
Okay.
Ash from Altar of Elites trying to give Awesome Adam from Reddit Alpha a run for his money here. Let's see if Ash can make it so a Reddit Alpha member is not in our finals for a couple Coronation days, or will Awesome Adam continue their dominance?
They can't let that happen. I feel like they're not.
The
they
clan
can't.
pride's at stake.
The
Yeah.
clan pride is that all of the clan. If Awesome Adam can't win this, Reddit Alpha's done.
Yeah,
Like,
what
they're gonna
hap-
split. There's no way they
What
can handle
would
this
Reddit
blow.
Alpha do to
There's
Awesome
no
Adam
way.
if he doesn't take this?
Wait, is Awesome Adam, he's playing a Golem deck. Didn't he already, no, I guess he lost
No,
to the Golem deck.
he lost
So he
to the
won
Golem
with the
deck.
Hog Lightning in game 1?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry, then I'm mistaken. We were in the Golem, it's late for me too. We're playing the Golem mirror match here.
Yeah.
So let's see what the difference is between the Golem. Actually, now looking at it, he still does have Log, does not have Princess,
Uh-oh.
does have Archers though.
Here comes the Graveyard, and Ice Golem
Oh,
positioned
great Ice
really,
Golem.
really well. That's actually key because it will delay the Graveyard long enough that you can actually justify using a spell to try to take down the skeletons, or opt not to and just save the elixir. I think that might earn Awesome Adam. Well, actually, it's catching Awesome Adam back up. He's kind of down 3 elixir because of that Mega Minion spend, which is going to convert to nothing. So that's basically 3.
Both players, you saw it in the early exchange, wanted to get their tombstones down first before dropping their golems. And the reason behind that is that it protects you against any sort of fast attacking stuff. Now, neither of these decks are really going to come in with a Hog Rider, but the idea there is that you get the tombstone to protect yourself, you start building your tanks behind it, and then when the tombstone blows up about 40 seconds later, you get a little mini skeleton army behind your golem to help out.
Ooh, I actually don't necessarily like that the golem is in front, but let's see how this push plays out. Awesome Adam has chosen to kind of raise Ash's call by playing golem himself in the midst of this push, and actually, oh man, that golem came really, really close. I didn't see if the death damage hit it, but Ash might be looking to be in a very good spot. Archers plus the Mega Minion are going to defend against the graveyard, and Awesome Adam's own golem didn't go anywhere.
Zap.
That Zap finishing off the Mega Minion lets the Steel Graveyard get on there! Wow!
Man.
Did Ash just book his ticket to the finals behind the newest legendary in the game?
Maybe.
Pretty good. I love
That'd
the
be
Ice Golem.
awesome.
The one thing that I think is really hurting Awesome Adam is he's playing his golem kind of without supporting troops. He's just throwing the golem down, and I think that one thing that Ash has been doing really well is placing supporting troops, making sure that his golem is well positioned to take down a tower in one big blow or at least do significant damage to it.
The 3 crown.
Here we finally see in Double Elixir, now does Ash have the opportunity to push his golem in with the Ice Golem in front, with archers behind. But he still is 1 tower down and only 9 seconds left. I don't think he's going to be able to make it happen. And
Doesn't seem like it. And the Graveyard defensively, just to stymie the attack, suddenly those archers are held up, the golem's held up, just surrounded by an endless swarm of skeletons.
And also Ash, congratulations. Moving on, our first finalist of Coronation Day, numero 8. Okay, so one of the things I want to pull out too is that Graveyard against Golem as a defense is pretty great because when the Golem explodes, as long as the Graveyard's not done, there's still going to be skeletons that are popping up. So
And it's definitely an advantage over something like Skeleton Army, which we've seen before. Skeleton surrounds the golem and then just dies with the explosion.
Let's take a look at our first replay. We've got Lava Hound and Lightning. Rainy, walk us through.
Lava Hound is great. When it pops, it does a ton of damage, especially if you don't have enough units really stopping, tanking it up, right? The miner came just in time, and with that bottom elixir, the Mega Minion and the little baby Minion coming up, that's all you really need. I mean, these cards that are Minion, the 3-cost little tiny dude, does so much damage.
Let's watch the key Zap here in this matchup. You're going to see a late Graveyard come down, and there's not too much tanking going on with the Golemites, but the Log and then Zap finish off those cards and allow the Graveyard just to swarm all over it. Look at that, it takes it from over 1,500 health down to near
Oh my
dead.
gosh, such a good way to see this new card be used. So good.
Will Graveyard take its first title?
That's also
Ooh.
potential.
I
hope
would
so.
like that.
Ash, go all the way. You got this.
Please.
We believe in you.
Yes.
Awesome, Adam. You come from a pedigree, from a clan that knows how to close these things
Yes,
out.
indeed.
But unfortunately, you fell just short. Marcel P sends his regards.
Oh no!
I hope they don't kick him out of the clan.
Right,
They
Alvin,
talked
don't
to him.
click.
Don't do
Don't
it.
kick him
Don't
out.
He
do
tried
it.
his best. Hey, walking home with
fired.
$300 no less.
Yeah.
That's a
it's not
fantastic
bad.
walk home indeed. All right, let's pull the bracket now as we have our first finalist of tonight. As you guys saw, it is Ash. Up next, Swood versus Razor. Someone is going to be joining Ash. Who is it going to be? Rainy, Swood or Razor? What's your pick?
I would think I like Razor. I just like Hog Log.
Yeah,
And I
he
love-
did it
I think
so
you
well.
just like saying hog log.
Yeah, Hog Log. Yeah, it is pretty catchy.
Let's just-
Farmer says so for self.
Let's just, I was gonna say, let's just combine them, but you just get log or hog.
Yep.
Lumberjack is in Razor's Golem deck. Lumberjack is a bearded fellow who sticks his tongue out a lot. I'm a bearded fellow who sticks his tongue out a lot. I think I might have to go with Lumberjack in this matchup, but
Swood's been here before.
Swood's been here before, could
Yeah.
absolutely prove me wrong. He's got the Giant Bowler, he's got the Baby Dragon Golem deck.
Yeah.
It's really at a toss-up, but I'd like to see Lumberjack v Graveyard in the finals.
Well, now, one of the
Yeah.
things also, as you guys can see the decks here, I want to talk about, Rumham, you brought this up yesterday, is that, I can't remember who it was, but someone talking to you about when he comes to the finals, or when he comes to the top 8, he just starts getting really nervous. Obviously, when the lights come on, he starts playing less and less. So there is, I would say, an advantage to being here multiple times. You've
Oh, yeah,
experienced that pressure. hopefully you're more calm. You can kind of get out of your head. It's just another game. So that is definitely something to be thinking through for these guys.
That's true in a lot of sports, actually. You rarely see a team win the championship on their first time to the playoffs. They normally get to the playoffs, lose in the first round, come back the next year, make it a little further, lose in that round, and then they have the experience, they have the mental fortitude to push through for the victory. That does certainly favor Mr. Swood.
Yeah.
But then again, when you come from clout gaming like Razer does, you're playing against some of the best day in and day out.
Sure.
And maybe you're not as intimidated by these players.
We've also seen someone come back and come back and come back and come back,
Marcel P.
and he still hasn't won yet. So, I mean, maybe it means nothing.
But there's also 8 more coronations to go, and if I think there was anyone who has yet to win a coronation who is the most favored to take one of those last 8 spots, probably Marcel P.
Come on, buddy. You can do it.
All right, well, here we are, guys. Our second semifinal, Swood versus Razer. It's a best of 3. Let's see who's going to take it all the way to the finals.
Swood, another member of TakeOver, so TakeOver is actually the second most prominent clan, I would say, in these tournaments.
They're
Would
excited.
it take over?
They are trying to take over not just Clash Royale, but I believe the world.
Oh, okay.
Earth.
Wow, look at Lumberjack go. The tower's not locked on him, so he is free to just swing away.
Lumberjack. Oh, I'm a lumberjack.
If he gets close enough, oh, he is close enough to the tombstone. For what it's worth, that will spawn skeletons a little bit faster.
Yeah.
Oh, the log comes in, and now the Golemites are going to make it. Can they do 500 damage?
Ooh, what a
Doubtful.
knockback of that explosion.
The Magic 8 Ball says doubtful. And it was right. 2 forts, 2-8 does not match 2-0-1-0.
And they're about even elixir. 1 elixir advantage for Swood, but he finds his tower down by about 400 hit points. I think you'd rather have the 400 health on his tower than that 1 elixir.
The more I see golems placed like that, the less I believe in them.
Far way back by the King
Yeah,
Tower?
I actually think both these players, well, you know, I'm not competitive at all in any way, shape, or form, but just based on what we've seen in the Coronation days, I actually feel like this is not the ideal play for the golem. I think you want to play something like the Ice Golem in the back, and then the Archers, and then when it's getting closer to the front, then you play your Golem.
I think what you're going to see here, the player who's going to win this exchange is the one who can kill that golem quicker and then play a second golem at the river to back it up.
They're so low elixir. Both of them are so low elixir right now.
Oh, actually, neither of them have enough elixir. We're not in double elixir time yet. Oh, actually, that push resolved very quickly.
Yeah.
Sometimes we see those big tanky armies just crash into each other, and it takes 20, 30, 40 seconds for the board to get clear again. But in that time, neither team really had a good support. They both just slaughtered each other very quickly and went back to even.
Well, hey, Ray, it looks like he heard you a little bit. He put an Ice Golem first.
He did.
And then he played the Golem.
He did. I think it all comes down to how quickly you can convert your supporting units that are destroying your opponent's golem back to assist the front line to help. The thing that I like about the Ice Golem is, just like the Golem itself, it actually ignores the supporting troops, so it's actually kind of helping out. But I feel like you want to put the Ice Golem in front because really you want that death damage to contribute.
No, the log was a little too late and actually missed the finishing off the tombstone, which allowed that swarm of skeletons to kill the golemites really quickly, letting the red backline troops go to meet their tank. Even though he's dead, they are making a push and trying to do some damage on that tower.
So the big thing you notice is that when Razer played that golem push, he actually got a little bit farther than Swood, and I think that is all attributed to the fact that it had the Ice Golem to assist.
One thing cool thing to know as well, we have Razer able to cycle so fast. He dropped a Lumberjack that benefited from the rage that the other Lumberjacks built.
I love it. That's the best part of double elixir time. Supercell, please, double elixir King Cup challenge thing, special challenge.
Supercell, at 10 seconds, make it be quadruple elixir.
Whoa. So
elixir.
we see why Baby Dragon's so good right there. Just survived that lightning and forces another card to come down to actually finish it off, because otherwise, it's going to keep fighting.
I think the choice for Razer was actually the wrong choice. He tried to assist his offensive push and spent no elixir on defense. Big problem is Golem on its own can really knock a tower down, and we're seeing that right here. Just one more hit, the death damage, and that is definitely in spell cycle range. In these situations, you do not actually want to invest tons of elixir in your aggressive push because it's so easy to stop. It's so easy to defend. Things get very cost effective when you're playing on your own end of the map. And the fact that Razer put so much elixir there and Swood just filled his board with defensive elixir, the single golem there, even with the tombstone, was just assisted by a log after the fact. And you saw how effective that push was for Swood.
What do you think his MVP card was there?
I know the MVP play was right there at the end. I don't know if it's going to show up in the replay, but if you go back and rewatch it on the VOD or something like that, He had a low health Mega Minion that survived in the middle of his field, started to counter push back. 2 archers were in the middle and they were locked onto the golems and golemites. If the Mega Minion would have actually drifted towards the middle, the tower would have shot it down. Instead, Swood played a lightning on tower, archer to kill them, bring that low health Mega Minion back towards the tower and away from the enemy tower, and that Mega Minion was crucial in doing so much of the damage that brought it within spell range.
Wow, well done, Swood. 1 game up, 1 more game, and you're gonna make it to the finals. Let's see if you can do it, or will Razor come back and tie it up 1-1? Rainey, you drew something earlier. Is this relevant now, or is it gonna be relevant later? You let me know, because this looks, again, abstract art to me. I don't even know how to... Is it relevant now?
It's talking about Royal Giant and Tombstone, so,
Cool. So now-
we'll probably wait. We'll probably wait for the match to be over.
I don't think there's any Royal Giants left, but actually, there's no Royal Giants left. Actually, with the finals, no matter what happens, is going to feature at least a Golem matchup, a Golem mirror match for the 2nd Coronation Day in a row.
That's right.
Golem is running.
Golem's the new
right
Expo.
now.
Dang, yeah.
Yeah, Golem has bullied out
Taking
the Expo.
over.
Yeah.
So what do you think's going to be next then?
Well, that's actually the question. You brought up that you know, like canon, right? There's cards that go so long unnoticed that people are like, oh, they kind of play
Said
into
archers
them.
too.
Archers, yeah, archers were out for a long time, and the
I think Rage Spell. I think that's the next one that's going to be
Rage coming back?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'd love to see come back? It's one of my favorite cards, Goblin Hut. Goblin Hut.
I like Goblin.
It's fun. It's actually not bad. Like, it's really, really good in the early arenas. Furnace is more popular, but I think in a lot of ways, Goblin Hut can be better, especially with all these big tanky decks, because the Furnace things just blow up. The Goblins can build up and continually do more and more work.
Well, as we know, anything goes in the Goblin Hut.
That's true. Anything. And we don't talk about it.
We don't talk about that. All right, Swood again, 1 up against Razor.
Mega Minion getting taken for a walk.
Giant gets placed in front of the bowler. The Lumberjack does a little bit here. Comes a log, but it's not going to take down the...
Log was way too early. I think against the bowler did clean it up, so it wasn't too bad.
1 punch. Oh. And 1 bowl, not towards the tower. Still, in terms of an opening push, I don't think Swood is too upset.
No, not at all. No, as long as you don't take a ton of damage early on, you can treat that, oh, okay, I took 200 damage. Let me treat that as gathering information. Now I know a little bit more about my enemy's deck, how they're going to play their cards, what they're going to react to, and do better on the next push. Once you start taking around 500 or so damage on a push, then it's like, maybe not worth it. I think I would rather have the health. But 1 fireball, fine.
The deceptive tankiness of Giant is something I am always punished on, because he'll get close to my tower. I'm like, oh, he's a sliver left. He's probably gonna die. He'll maybe get 1 hit. And it'll be like 3 hits in. I'm like, so tanky.
Yeah, all those health bars are the same size. It's like, it looked like he only had a ½ inch left on him, and there's way more.
Fun facts.
All right, Giant Bowler being set up again.
The bowler survives with a sliver.
And keep in mind that Swood is on a timer, right? Once this hits double elixir, we've seen enough Giant Bowler matchups to know that it starts getting worse and worse and worse for a Giant Bowler deck. And he needs to make something big connect, trying to shove that Giant away with the Ice Golem. And I think that Bowler was doing a ton of damage. 897, but we've seen Golem decks come back from worse.
Swood does have a 4 elixir advantage though, so he's still maintaining that kind of death grip on the game right now. One thing that's actually hurting Razor is that unlike some of the other Giant decks that we've seen pull this off, he's running both Ice Golem and Lumberjack, which gives the bowler a lot of targets. When those decks would come back and win, they often had things like Baby Dragon that were very crucial to the comeback maneuver, and that's not so much in this deck.
Ooh, Archer, one of the Archers actually walking into its doom, and the arrows will actually eliminate it, but now Lightning comes across, and that Mega Minion is going to swing down the other, and it's going to win the Mega Minion duel too, and this Mega Minion is doing work. Now this Lumberjack comes through, and will chop down the Giant, and so almost completely defended, and units are now starting to spill over to the other side. This will translate into another Golem for Swood. The question is, can he start spinning around the momentum into his own favor and start playing Golems back to back?
Yeah, when you have the ability to keep your defensive troops alive and use them on the next push, under they repel a push, but then they're used in the counterattack, that's one of the best ways to generate massive elixir advantage. Because it's almost like now this Giant, look at this. This is effectively a 14 elixir push.
He's still alive?
For free. It's the same bowler.
Oh, and I think he's going to have to log to push that away, but I don't know if he has it in cycle,
One
and that's
more
it.
punch, Swood.
Swood.
2-0ing Razor, picking up the victory, going on to meet Ash into the finals.
He did so well maintaining pressure, and something that we saw a lot of Giant Bowler decks failing against Golem decks, Swood was able to overcome, and I think a lot of that was probably due to the fact that you didn't have Baby Dragon, which doesn't necessarily do a ton of damage, but is very sustainable and very tanky. That over a duration of time, which is a long time because Golem is the health pool that you're trying to chew through. That takes a long time to defeat the Golem. The Baby Dragon is constantly just shooting at whatever it sees. Interesting.
I think the Lumberjack there was also, while it was great in getting Razor to this point, was kind of a liability in that matchup. When you see the Golem decks with a lot of air units, it's like, great, the Bowler doesn't do much. It does a kind of wimpy amount of damage to the Golem. But there was a lot of stuff in Razor's deck that were getting knocked back.
All right, let's take a look at our replay here. Again, it's a combo we see a lot. It's Golem, it's Lightning.
Yep. I've given very succinct descriptions of why Lightning is good with big bodies, and we'll probably see it again here.
Lightning. This is what I was talking about.
Oh, that's it. That's exactly right.
Didn't go into the tower and was able to safely approach and do quite a good amount of damage. Chops that Lumberjack to death.
Wow.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I think, and Giant Bowler, so difficult against the Golem deck to really trade efficiently enough that you can constantly just keep throwing Giants at the opponent. And look at this Bowler. Sliver of health, the last health point is the one that matters the most. Got about 2 bowls, took down a lot of troops, and also did damage to the tower. That's excellent line of play.
Good play indeed. Again, congratulations to you, Swood. You are moving on. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have our finalists. It's Ash, it's Swood. Let's pull the bracket so you guys can get a quick reminder of like, oh, what's happening today? Oh, Coronation Day number 8. This is what's happening so far. We've seen T-Bone get knocked out. We've seen Mr. Man's dad. We've seen Manly and EPRU all in the round of 8. Moving on, it was Ash versus Awesome Adam. Awesome Adam going out, Ash moving on. What you guys just saw, Swood versus Razor. Swood 2-0ing. So now that we're in the finals, Ash versus Swood. Rumham, who are you going to give the advantage to?
I don't know.
This is best of 5.
Best of
by the
5.
way.
One thing that we have seen give Ash's deck a lot of trouble is any deck running arrows. Swood's Giant Bowler deck does have arrows in it, and that can be very, very useful.
Yeah, you're right.
But at the same time, Ash has gotten here with his Lava Hound deck walking over Giant and Golem decks the whole way. So, I don't know. I could see it go either way.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I would like to see Lava Hound win just so I could have the faith that my deck could win.
And along with that, Graveyard is in Ash's deck as well. So this might be the first time we see Graveyard in a winning deck here at the Clash Round North American Open. But Rainey, what about you? Who you thinking has the slight advantage? Based on play, based on deck?
Worth mentioning, Giant Bowler has yet to win. Even though it's been very popular, it has not actually been in any of the winning players' decks.
Okay.
It's made to the finals a handful of times.
But it's never won.
Yeah.
All right.
If there's anybody
New
that makes me
winners.
believe it's probably going to be Swood, based on the way he played against Razor, means that there's something that Swood is doing right. Of course, what does it mean if you're going against a Golem deck that has something like Baby Dragon, right? That might make the difference. So we'll have to see. It's hard to call. I think the advantage would have to go to Ash in my mind.
Okay, all right, so it looks like both players for Ash Swood, though, again, just making it here is fantastic. Second place, taking home $500. First place, one of these two players will be taking home $2,000 today. They'll be moving on to the arena battles and then to the crown duels from there. $15,000 for first place on the line out of a total $100,000 prize pool and the chance to go visit Supercell HQ. That's what these guys are playing for. And also
Lovely
glory.
Helsinki, Finland.
Oh, Helsinki. The crispest air
Let's all
anyone
go.
could breathe.
That's actually super true. It's really, really nice there.
All right, here's the finals.
Food's delicious. People are wonderful.
Altar of Elites versus Takeover as far as the clans. So, Takeover looking to start coming back to tie up Reddit Alpha for the number of players that have made the Coronation.
Ooh,
Day
the cycle
champions.
of skeletons. Look at them. Look at them. They're just walking around in circles.
Oh, it looks so cool.
Ring around the rose.
They're just attracted to
pretty
each-
funny.
This is great.
You know, I think we should always end our Coronation Days with a dance-off.
Yeah.
And that's we're
it.
getting it started right away.
Thanks, Tombstone.
Oh, wow. River Golem.
Golem on the river.
That's a new card. The
Don't
River
see
Golem.
a lot of River Golems.
Good old River Golem.
Oh,
Mega Man's chopping
the
it up.
Mega Minion kill it in time?
It's
Oh,
gonna
we got
do
the
some
death damage.
But that Mega Minion's definitely going to come back. And actually, bad news for Swood, no Inferno Tower in either deck.
All right, here comes a biter to try to clear out the archers.
It does, and it's still alive.
Wow.
Oh, no, don't run away.
No, come back. All right.
Pups do lock onto the tower, and that's going to do a
It's gonna be
decent
so
amount of
many
damage.
guys.
And look at the Mega
The
Minion
tower's
from
gone.
downtown.
The tower's gone right there, getting melted.
Oh,
An
wow.
early lead for Ash. Only a minute and 40 left to go.
That Mega
Ash-
Minion had a Terminator walk from downtown and just walked up, killed a bunch of stuff, and kept
looking
on
at
walking.
you.
Ash struggled in his earlier rounds, winning both of them 2-1, so he took an early loss, then have to come back and win. But ever since maybe game 1 of the top 4, he has been in Terminator mode, just crushing the last 2 games in order to advance into the finals. And right here, only a minute and a half into the first game, takes the tower.
There's the Lava Hound drop on top, and that's going to turn that Baby Dragon away.
Uh-oh.
Means the minions and the Mega Minion can do a lot of damage. Archers lock on, though, and will take down a few, and now the Golem is free on the tower, gets the death damage, and the Golemites are close enough to do a little bit of swinging and a little bit of hurting, and the only thing really stopping that from happening is the skeletons that are popping out one at a time from the tombstone. I don't know if that was a worth it trade. You're only now just not even to the crown tower on the left side. You're 500 health away. If you're trying to go for a 3 crown, you need a much more convincing push, I think.
One of the things okay, so he's got a little bit of better setup now because he has a good backline. It's already attacking the goal, and he's got to get rid of those archers, or the archers are going to do a great job picking off.
Oh,
no!
Oh no!
Baby Dragon takes out the minion horde just like that.
We see how key Baby Dragon is. I think that tower's going down, and maybe Ash needs to switch to a 3 crown plan here.
I think it's incredibly unfortunate. Ash would have liked to play the Minion Horde a little earlier while the Lava Hound was still attracting
still a
the
big
Baby
push.
Dragon's attention.
Wow.
And this is a big push. Has to spend lightning to stop it. That's not what you want to do because now there's another Golem on the board.
Wow.
Do you just go for 3 crowns here?
He could. He can go down the left. Oh, he's going to go down the right lane. Go down the right lane, so it's pretty much the opposite side. It's going to be really hard because you can't really play the support cards behind the Golem because they've got to be on the right side to try to stop all that other stuff.
Come on,
Oh,
Lava
Baby
Hound.
Dragon, though.
Baby
Proving why
Dragons
it's
do-
so good in these Golem decks. It clears out your biggest fear minions, and now this is at least 15 elixir worth of stuff pushing in on the tower.
Golem Login. That's a stretch. But the Golem plus Log combo takes down the Tombstone and eliminates the skeletons that pop out afterwards. Gives very good uptime on the tower. Plus the archers will help out. And the Ice Golem is coming to give it the friendly hug. Ice Golem for the killing blow. Oh no!
What a turnaround for
Wow.
Swood using the GOG combo.
Shut down the Terminator there.
Yeah.
I think that 2 things turned around that game, and it was actually the same play twice. Baby Dragon v Minion
Oh,
Horde.
man.
There
Baby
was-
Dragon.
I was like, what Baby Dragon is this?
That's a buff golem.
Oh, God.
Here's the thing.
That's pretty
so,
good.
He played Minion Horde hoping that the Baby Dragon would stay turned around and the Minion Horde could quickly kill the Baby Dragon. It doesn't have a lot of hit points.
Right.
But the Baby Dragon turned around just in time and along with an Ice Golem explosion, just aced
One
that
shot
Minion
him.
Horde. That's 5 elixir on the board, off the board, right away, barely did any damage.
Yeah.
And then later on in the game, same thing happened. Played a Minion Horde, Baby Dragon turned around along with a Zap or an Ice Golem, something like that. Ended up killing the Minion Horde almost immediately, and both times the Baby Dragon were crucial in the counter push that took the tower.
Right, and he was able to come back from that river golem that you guys were so upset about at the beginning.
It was an odd play, yeah, but that just shows, Golem is a deck that has a lot of inevitability. Like, if you're both just going to sit back and play Elixir behind your King Tower, Golem is the biggest, baddest rock on the block.
Yeah.
And those pushes were scary. You don't have log. You know what I mean? You have log. But you don't have ways to kill those archers. Like, how do you remove the archers? How do you remove the Baby Dragon when lightning, log, zap isn't enough?
Yeah. One of the things I love about seeing that too is, again, going down so early, having a tower fall almost immediately. Usually we see no one come back from that. It's like, all right, well, that's it.
I think he even said good game.
Don't-
Yeah, he was like, that was
Yeah.
it. You know, I'm out. But Swood, not losing hope, picks up game number 1 again in the best of 5 here of the finals. He can still use the deck again, and it looks like he's going to.
You're right, so you can get up to 2 wins with each deck. Thinks the Golem deck is his best chance of victory.
Ooh, the Mega Minion locks onto the Golem, and that one archer does survive and will continue contributing damage. And this Golem is actually going to make it to the tower. All the skeletons in the back are doing a lot of damage, but not enough. One
Will
swing
blow up.
plus the death damage, and now it's the Golemites, and that's a huge connection for Ash.
Gog.
Get the good old GOG.
Good old Gog. And the
Gog.
archers survived. If 2 Baby Dragon shots got on those archers, it would have gone down. Killed them before the second shot came in, and they were able to contribute and stop those Golemites. 23-22, and the Golemites are still attacking on Swood's tower.
huge push by Ash. And Swood is being put in the back foot. The bear hug. Oh, it's coming for the hug on the tower. Oh no, but it's spookier than it seems because Graveyard is coming to assist, and with just the Mega Minion and the slowdown from the Ice Golem, the Graveyard was actually able to pile on a good number of skeletons and chip that down to 609.
I think he's happy with that too. Like, I don't think he's going, oh man, I could have gotten more damage on the Graveyard. I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, I think so too.
But of course, he found himself in this situation last game with a good damage lead halfway through the game. Got to be very careful. The difference here is, again, how are you going to kill that baby dragon? That thing is tough. There is a Mega Minion. There's archers.
Okay.
Ice Golem in both of their decks. Tombstone in both decks. One big advantage for Ash is he's running Zap and Log, and that gives him a few more options in terms of killing some of those high-cost troops.
Golem makes its way across, and it's actually very, very healthy with the Ice Golem in the back, and I think this is Swood's big, big push.
Oh no, the baby dragon lives!
The baby dragon lives, and that's going to be able to defend against the Golem very, very well, plus the Mega Minion too, and so much damage being taken by Swood's Golem on Ash's tower, and we're only 40 seconds away. Graveyard coming up here, but that Ice Golem's going to tank up a fair bit. One Golem on the back gets a
Gonna do enough.
good
It looks like it
stab.
will.
Man, Graveyard.
Evens it up, but a second Golem on the way.
You're right, and this low health Mega Minion still doing damage. That low health baby dragon was doing a lot of work before they finally take
I
it down.
think at this point, Swood has actually hit a critical massive units. I don't know if there's a way for him to clean this up. There's so much elixir on the board, and Swood can use his extended drop zone to continuously reinforce. I think this might be a 3-crown.
Ooh, Ash is doing everything he can to stop it. The Ice Golem starts to tank, and he can't hit that last archer who's chipped away.
There's the Tombstone. Good positioning, pushes those units away and keeps them off the tower for just a little bit, but 1,000 health left on that King Tower means that 3-crown is incredibly threatening.
And especially because Swood significantly ahead in terms of elixir. He was able to get a Golem down, and after the Golem was played, they were kind of close on their elixir, but he's gonna race, it's overtime. Can he get there with a quick Graveyard on the tower?
Interesting thing is the King Tower is actually contributing to killing down the skeletons, and having that extra line of attack makes Graveyard much less
not
effective.
looking good for Ash.
The Golem is still very, very healthy, and it can definitely do 1,000 points of damage. It's going to get 2 punches plus the death damage, and now the Golemites are on there. There's a good game, and I think it's over.
Just like that, Swood, 3 crowning. I think that's our 3rd 3-crown out of ever. Out of all of our Coronation days. Congratulations, he picked up his 2nd victory. He still has 1 to go, but his Golem deck is out. Swood's Golem deck
he heard us
done.
and was like, I'm gonna prove you guys wrong.
Yeah, he goes, oh, Ash is the player to watch? Oh, really? Oh, you think it's Ash? It's me. Now, we have seen players come back from a 0-2 deficit, get 3 games, because just in case their decks now, if Swood's final deck doesn't match up against one of Ash's deck and he wins with 1, it could bode poorly for him. Is there any deck that Ash is bringing that's going to have a hard matchup against Swood's final deck?
I think it's probably the Golem deck that is the worst matchup because of the Graveyard, the Ice Golem, against the Bowler. It also has got Log and Musketeer and things like that. I think the reason why Ash switched off of his Lava Hound deck is because he wanted the Lava Hound deck against the Giant Bowler deck. Okay. So he does have a pretty decent matchup there. I expect him to switch back to Lava Hound, probably crush the Giant Bowler deck maybe once, but that's still maybe like a 60-40 matchup. You could absolutely lose against Lava Hound or with the Lava Hound deck. He's got to win twice with Lava Hound against Giant Bowler, and then goes into a crucial Game 5 with Golem Graveyard against the Giant Bowler deck.
Woo. One of the things I want, Randy, you mentioned that at that moment, Swood hit like a critical mass of units where there was so many pouring down, and because you have that extended drop zone when you take down your enemy tower, he was able to reinforce. I would have lost right there if I were Ash. Ash actually found a way to defend it, which was super impressive. What was one of the key? What was the key way that he did it? Do you see what card he used?
I think one of the big things was placing the Graveyard defensively. Just the frequency of unit spawning meant that it kept a lot of the troops off of the tower, bought enough time for the King Tower and the Crown Tower to shoot down the troops that were already targeted onto the structures of Ash. And with a few more cards added on and having the Graveyard essentially being a tank for them, gave them enough lifetime to finally chip away at that health, and then pushing the final troops off that tower with the Tombstone was the last thing that Ash needed to survive a little bit more. But that was an expensive defense for him because he kept on losing cards. He kept on playing elixir that got removed from the board while Swood's elixir remained on the board.
Right, and I definitely agree that when you say critical mass like that, when there's so many units all bunched up, melee troops, things like Mini P.E.K.K.A, Lumberjack, Mega Minion, become significantly worse because there's a 1 second deploy time. You play them, some of those troops just get melted. They don't even take a swing. Things like you really have to rely on cards like Archers and Musketeer to save you there, but they don't do that much damage compared when there's Golem, Ice Golem, Archers in the back, Baby Dragon in the sky.
All right, well, right now, again, ladies and gentlemen, Swood can taste the $2,000. He is 1 game away from being Coronation Day 8 champion. Let's see if he can do it, or will Ash from Altar of Elites be able to maintain and come back from this 0-2 deficit.
And we've only seen one 3-0 sweep in the finals, and it was Swood's clanmate Flash.
What
Oh,
takeover?
true.
That's right.
All right, he's got some shoes to fill. All right, Swood.
There's a big log taking down all the skeletons, and now finally does the Golem make it, and it's going to get the death damage on there, and the Ice Golem is going to die shortly after. Slows down the bowler, actually, and gives the Golemites a few good punches.
Still not a huge fan of the River Golem there, because if you're trying to go over the top of someone else's strategy, you really want to be like, okay, you're playing your king behind, I'm going to play the Golem behind,
Start
because
building.
I'm investing more elixir, I'm going to let the giant come across, and then I can kill the giant on my side while the Golem is just starting to cross on your side. You don't really want your tank to be the first one to cross the river, especially in these head-to-head matchups.
Now, Ash, interestingly enough, not bringing Lava Hound.
Yeah, I mean, Golem does have a better matchup from what we've seen, but I think that because he's relying a lot on this graveyard, and of course you got Log and Bowler and stuff being pretty good there, it's not as good as I think some of the other Golem decks we've seen, but what do I know, because that graveyard's about to take the tower down!
As we're talking, the tower on the side of Swood left going, melted, 20 seconds now remain. Swood has to find something, or Ash is going to take this first game, or the third game of the finals.
Right. I think the key there is that Bowler on paper matches up really well because he's got that big splash effect, but it's a 2.5 second wind-up time. It's a pretty slow attack speed.
Big thing for Swood there was he played the bowler and the log that completely ignored the Golem pushing down the lane and tried to stymie the push that the graveyard was generating. When you play 8 elixir that does nothing to touch the Golem, you put yourself in a very, very dangerous spot, because then we saw the Golem make it to the tower and get a few big swings, and there were some even graveyard skeletons that were not in range of the bowler's boulder roll that got a few pokes off themselves. And I think that in that situation, you need a more efficient defense against graveyard, because committing 8 to stop 5 when there's another 8 elixir coming down your lane is not going to work.
So what went wrong there? Would my Lava Hound deck, would that have been better against that, or was it just misplaying his deck?
Who's playing the Lava Hound deck?
Ash, right?
That's a dunk. Sorry, I'm kidding. Actually, no, I don't know. I truly don't know why he decided to go with the Golem deck there. I was assuming that he would try to take 2 wins with the Lava Hound deck and then kind of try to win with that Golem deck, but he's already proved the win out now.
Now he's got it.
Maybe he can actually switch to Lava Hound,
just do it
catch
twice?
him off guard.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that Ash is afraid of the arrows in the giant bowler deck, and that's what he's trying to avoid, basically. But you're gonna have to pay the piper at some point, so. I don't know. He kind of has the option here. He can be a little tricky. He can play. He's got to win once with each of his 2 remaining decks. If your opponent is expecting Golem, we saw how the opening. Remember with Marcel Pino, the opening play can be kind of important here. So maybe you can switch it up. Have your opponent make a bad play early, because now you're playing Lava Hound when they think you're going to play Golem. Steal another win and go into game 5.
All right, well, we'll see if he can do that right now. Again, Ash trying to keep it alive. Swood still 1 more game away. If he can win 1, he'll take that $2,000, but Ash from Altar Elites looking to tie it up.
Oh, you're a good sport.
She is going to hurt you after the broadcast.
Yep.
My problem is that I'm the oldest sibling in my family, so I'm just used to like talking infinite trash.
Sure.
And I'm an only child. I have no
you have the thinnest
defense.
skin.
I have nothing.
What is this?
What do I
Swood just
do?
lets it happen. Whoa. Oh my God, that is definitely not an alive tower anymore.
Well, he's looking to trade towers here because he's got the Musketeer still at full health, and it looks like they're gonna trade towers because Ash only has 4 elixir, and I'm not exactly sure he's gonna. I mean, I can't.
Oh,
Defensive
okay.
It's not the best thing too, because unlike something like Skeleton Army, the bowler might kill one of them, but then they swarm and.
Musketeer, stay alive! Oh! Goes down there.
That was almost. I mean, he would have been better off zapping in that case. Zap would have done the same amount of damage there to the bowler and the Musketeer. I feel like Ash had a huge advantage and sort of gave it away by casting the defensive graveyard as opposed to Log, Tombstone, a lot of other things.
Still taking damage for it.
Yeah, I know, right? So you going to try to 3 crown?
That's a pass, River Golem.
There's 9 elixir. I don't think he realizes that he's not as ahead as he thinks he is. Oh, no!
Oh no!
Behind by, I want to say 3 elixir, and he's paying for it now, although that golem is going to do a pretty good amount of damage.
He only has 5 elixir to defend what potentially could be a.
Oh, no.
Oh,
Oh,
no! Where are you going? Where are you going? No!
Where's the Mega Minion?
Oh no.
He has no elixir to play anything right now. Tombstone to try to. Oh, recharges the bowler. That's gonna. Man, it might have been too little too late though. In terms of 3 crown brace, if a giant gets played aggressively on that right lane, I don't know if Golem can be fast enough to actually take down Swood's King Tower, 2,000 health.
He needs to sit back and defend, try to stay alive here, and gain a little bit of an elixir advantage. That's a thing you could do.
Here's what's crazy. We just hit double elixir. All of this happened
Yeah, that was
before
crazy.
double
Oh,
elixir.
no!
It's too late. The log.
Just like that, Swoon! Not only finishing out the game with a 3 crown, but that just won him the entire series. Swoon is our Coronation Day 8 champion. That was mass chaos. That was mass chaos in that last match. What he could do, is he going to go for 3 crown? Yeah, he let that go. We're going to trade towers. Wow, congratulations though, $2,000 to him.
What?
Rainy, Rumham, shall we explain?
I think that Ash fell apart. I think that twice in the series we saw that Ash had gained actually a very, very significant lead. In fact, I think in almost all the games that we saw in this finals match, Ash was able to take an early lead. But I think it was transitioning, the decision making after he got that lead. How do you take that? So when we talk about you deal damage to a tower, right? You pay elixir.
Right.
Dealing damage to structures means you're paying elixir to do that. And so I think it was just when Ash had to pay back that elixir, when Swood was really making him, hey, I'm here, here's my return, here's my gift to you. Ash did not know how to deal with that. He wasn't making the right decisions, and like Rumham identified, the graveyard on defense, I think there were better cards to play while your tower is still alive and the bowler and the musketeer are attracted to the tower. There are better cards you can play to immediately kill those cards so that, okay, maybe you lose your tower, but your king tower is completely clean and you've gotten rid of the damage on the board.
Yeah, two mistakes lost in that game. The defensive graveyard against the musketeer bowler, and then casting the golem, going for the 3 crown when he thought that he wasn't as far behind an elixir as he was. He was really far behind an elixir when he did that, and it opened him up to a pretty bad counterplay.
So no graveyard win tonight.
Ooh, but it's getting closer.
But,
It's made
yeah.
the top 4 before, now it's made the finals.
And also we have no A. Swood knocking out our chance of having the perfect alphabet.
Oh.
Bringing in the end.
I did say it though, Swiggity Swooty's coming for that trophy.
He's coming straight for that big trophy.
And look at this. I mean, there's just so much stuff that Swood has coming down the lane on the left side, on the right side. You just don't have enough elixir to block both of them, and Archer's just pinging away as they can, but don't do enough damage to take it down. Graveyard being played here is not as bad an idea as before, but then you get punished by lightning, and all of a sudden you're down 5 elixir, and your troop just got removed.
Wow.
It was him trying to cycle back to that tombstone and playing it just a little too late. If the giant had turned around and fought the tombstone, probably could have killed the giant and lived to fight another day. Granted, your king tower's in lightning range, and you're probably dead at that point, but right, maybe you always want to buy every bit of seconds that you can in order to try to make a comeback there. And unfortunately, it was 2 mistakes back-to-back that put Ash behind by, I'd say, as much as 6 or 7 elixir.
Wow.
And that's a really hard hole to dig yourself out of.
And just like that, Swood taking that championship for Coronation Day. Let's go ahead and pull up the bracket so we can walk through just the story of this night. Rainy, what happens?
There was a graveyard.
Yeah.
The graveyard made it very, very, yes, the graveyard made it very far. And the Lava Hound deck, actually, both of those decks were doing quite well. And I think on Swood's side, the first place winner of the tournament here went through some very, very tough opponents. I mean, Razor was doing really, really well in terms of just having an overall strategy and playing his cards at the right time and making sure he has elixir enough to play combos that he wants. His Hot Rider was very fantastic, and Swood was able to overcome that, and eventually Swood was also able to defeat Ash, who had good decks, but punish them on decision making, really.
Yeah, and our first giant bowler deck won.
Hey! Welcome to
Congratulations.
Welcome to the finals.
So not only is Swood taking home $2,000 and a chance to go to the crown duels and a total reason to call us all out and say that he's awesome even when we said he wasn't going to win, he's going to go down in Clash Royale
Yes.
history.
That's right.
So if you want to be like him, go to ClashRoyaleOpen.com and just play and win, maybe.
Yeah, play, win tons of money.
And
All you have to do is
pull
beat
an
the best
ending
players
like
in the
that.
In the game, that's it.
Super
easy,
simple.
guys. ClashRoyaleOpen.com. We hopefully will see you here next. And next time, we are going to be broadcasting. So tonight's Thursday. Next is going to be Sunday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We are back a little bit earlier, so you guys can...
Go to bed earlier.
yeah, you guys
we all need it.
You guys can go to sleep earlier. And then again, after that, we are going to Sunday, Monday 6, same time, Wednesday 6, and again Thursday 8 more. We are now halfway done.
Yes.
Halfway done with the Clash Royale North American Open. It's been a fantastic journey so far. We hope to see you guys here the next time. Well, on behalf of everyone here at the Clash Royale North American Opens, officially presented by Supercell, broadcasted out of the NGE studios in Burbank, California, that is Rumham and Rainey.
I'm Ella.
I'm tired.
Have the most ridiculous night.
It's very, very
Let's
late.
get some.
It's
Yeah.
very after
Let's do
dark.
some evil skeevers.
Evil what?